The old saying says, Saturdays are for the boys. And tonight, the boys are out to play for sure. Where tonight, from the virtual Daytona International Speedway, we welcome you to coverage of the Saturday for the Boys benefiting Movember charity event hosted by McCody Setup Shop live here on Podium Esports. It's a beautiful Saturday night in Sim, and we are happy to have you with us, where alongside Terry Radford across in the World Center of Racing and the broadcast booth, my name is Kenneth Bueno. We'll have Ryan Bauer producing us all night long using cameras provided to us by Dougie Beard. Well, Terry, this event tonight, hosted by McConey Setup Shop, a big group effort supporting the Movember charity. And what better place to have a little fun on Sim and do for a great cause and put some trucks, put them on Daytona, a super speedway race where anybody can join. It's $10 to enter. It's going to be a lot of fun here tonight. It's going to be for a great cause, and we'll see who comes out as a winner. It's going to be great.
Well, the boys are back in town, and I was supposed to be one of the competitors out there racing, but I feel more comfortable with the beautiful AC on me. I don't have a steering wheel. I'm not sweating like crazy. I do know that my hands won't sweat with Martin Sports gloves, but it's not clammy. Nobody's mad at me, and I get to sit next to KB, the best KB in my opinion, Kenneth Bueno. It's going to be a great night for a great cause, and I'm in a good mood. Tennessee beat Vandy today.
I think we're talking KB. I think the best one is Kyle Busch, but
it's close
for the moment. At least it's going to be a great one here tonight. Of course, it is a charity event, and we've got a lot of stuff in store for what's going to be for a great cause. I mean, this event benefiting the Movember charity and the Movember Foundation, which is for, most importantly, men's health, particularly the cancers and, of course, mental health as well. November, the month, Terry, of men's mental health awareness. So it is going to be a fantastic event. These guys are going to be ripping it around Daytona for 100 laps. It's most about fun, but to put in perspective, I mean, this is for a great cause, something that affects men all over the world, and I think it's great that we put awareness here with an event here tonight on the Sim.
Yeah, a ton of men have the stigmatism that they're supposed to be strong, put their shoulders back, rub some dirt on it, and keep pushing forward. But that's not always the case. There's a statistic out there that men are normally the ones to have issues, whether it is hiding cancer or hiding suicidal ideations, whatever. But tonight we shed some light on it, and it's awesome for the charity organization like Movember and for McConey Setup Shop, Martin Sports, iRacing, iFlags, all of these sponsors to come together, put an event on like this, and just showcase the talent of people out there, but they're racing for great causes. Somebody's putting up $1 something a lap every time they complete one around here. So by the end of this, that's 260 something bucks, man. That's going to a great cause and a good organization. I can't wait. Let's throw the green flag now.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Qualifying currently underway for the drivers. Let's take a look at where we are, though, with the virtual world, Terry, for the World Center of Racing. If you're an oval racing fan, chances are you don't need an introduction for what this place is. Daytona International Speedway opened back in 1959 and has held the infamous Daytona 500, has held many stock car, sports car races, you name it. It's been held here at Daytona with a 2.5 miles in length, 4.02 kilometers in length as well, with 31 degrees of banking at either corner, 18 degrees of banking over in the tri-oval. To the start finish line is a mere 2 degrees of banking rather on the back straightaway. So this track wide open, it's fast. But Terry, you bring a lot of trucks on here, the NASCAR trucks and their super speedway package, then you're going to bring a lot of excitement and a lot of strategy as well, just because these trucks really cling to each other. You get a couple of trucks on a certain lane, best believe you're going to get a run out of this world, and these drivers are going to try to experiment that all night long for 100 laps.
It's like putting tennis balls in a dryer. You throw them all in there and they start banging up on one another. Everything starts moving around. Well, that's basically what this is. You're taking really big machines, throwing them on Daytona, say go 190, 200 miles an hour. And oh yeah, we got some heat races to go around too. So every single one of these drivers are gonna have some fun. And who knows, maybe you'll end up being a dog, Troy, or you're gonna be the winner.
Well, the top 36 qualified. They're in for the show, but this is the starting grid for the first heat race, the only heat race of the evening. It'll be 5 laps where Justin Johnson in the 10 machine will lead us to the green. Chance Sapp will be to his outside. Eric Stout in the 6 machine will be on the inside of row 2 with Ronald Reynolds in the 14. Alongside him, Greg McConey, brother of Jeff McConey himself, on the inside of row 3. Jordan Spoon will round out the drivers to the top 6. Chastain Jay Teets will be on the inside of row 4. Dustin Sorber will be on his outside before you find Ricky Barbary and Seth Egger, the 57 machine, a driver you can recognize in Monday Night Racing every single week. Chris Elliott will be behind him in row number 12, or row number 6 rather, to P12. Bradley Wilson will be behind him in row 6.
You got Dustin Young, and then you got Brett Baldeck. Everybody knows him from Monday Night Racing too. Adam Rohn, Mike Clay, Shane Turney, I think I said that one right, and Michael Eckhart will be row 9. And rounding out this in shotgun, the place I would want to be is Joseph Burgess.
It's a total of 19 trucks on this heat race. It'll be only 5 laps, so that means that you don't really have a lot of time to make some moves or really think out what you're going to do. You're really going to have to be in action. Top 5 make it to the feature. If you don't make it here, you're going to be over to the consolation race. Let's take a look over at the weather conditions. It's a cool night, Terry, here in Daytona. I mean, I know we're approaching winter time. It's late November up in Florida, but it is warmer than a lot of other places in the United States. 66 degrees in the air with winds to the 8 miles per hour and 68 degrees on the track temp. So it's going to be really cool, Terry. We're not going to see a lot of drivers fighting their race cars per se. They're just going to be fighting between themselves on the racetrack, which I think is a lot of fun.
Yeah, the nighttime's always the right time to race, and especially at Daytona because you have so much more speed, because there's so much more grip into the track. So when they come off here, everybody talks about this is the handling spot. Like, restrictor plate racing, this is it. So Dega, it's just rip it, whatever. Here, you have to have a good handling car, because if you come off the exit of turn 4, especially turn 4, there's a little bit of a divot that you're going to hit, and you're going to be going 190 mile an hour in the pack. It's going to shoot you up or it's going to shoot you down. Tonight we're going to see which one of these 19 drivers in 5 laps around here. It's checkers or records, because you want to get into the main show.
It's a large entry list, but a very small margin to get into the feature, and that's what's going to make this race, and even at 5 laps, so exciting here where Justin Johnson, Chance Sapp going to be the first 2 to lead us to green. So while we talk about super speedway racing, Terry, you mentioned just how wide Talladega is and just how different it is from Daytona. What's going to be the keys to victory, at least for the heat race, if you want to get into the main feature and the top 5?
Don't wreck. Don't wreck. And if you're starting back here like Dustin Sorber, Seth Egger, or Brett Baldick, or one of these guys, miss the wreck.
We'll see who gets alive, who doesn't end up so lucky, ends up in the consolation for this Movember charity event. Pace car going to make the left to pit road. It's Justin Johnson in the 10, the 04 of Chance Sapp, the 2 bow ties ready to bring us to green out for the first heat race for the Movember charity event hosted by McCody Setup Shop. We're green from Daytona.
Terrible start for the outside. They're wrecking already. There's a big wreck in the back of the field. Hey, it could happen anywhere. I don't believe they're going to throw that yellow flag. I don't think cautions count here in this heat. But a lot of guys survived it. The outside didn't get a good run, but 3 people go up to the high side and help the outside lane. Here comes Chance. He takes the lead down the back straightaway.
That was Dustin Young, the 39 truck, who got the worst end of that damage. He went around to the apron. He's back all the way in 19th, but look at the moves, the big meaty moves, in fact, all the way for the front. That's Greg McConey, a big charge to the inside of the back straightaway into turn 3, and with help from pole sitter Justin Johnson, he'll take the lead momentarily before the chance here from Chance Sapp to the outside. He'll have a couple of trucks to help, and as they head for the trial, lap 1 complete from Daytona, here comes Chance Sapp to the race lead.
Yeah, you got a lot of aggressive pushing. This is the people that are in the main event right now need to be paying attention to what they're doing here. When they came across the line, everybody was bumper to bumper. Nobody wants to miss the opportunity. Bad side draft for the 54. He's around. They're all in a ball. There goes Spoon. He's wrinkled. Spoon, baby.
It's a huge crash in turn 2. We don't even know who came out of that alive. That was pretty much almost the entire field, and that leaves the 51 of Bradley G. Wilson. That truck completely clean. There goes the 13 around all by himself. He's going to spin all the way to the inside grass. I don't think we expected this, Terry. I mean, you mentioned it before we went green. Don't wreck. That was a huge pileup, and that leaves Wilson all by himself coming back to the trial wall.
The OG unit has a 4.5 second lead to everybody. And looking at this wreck right here, the 54 goes down to get a side draft. Yeah, a little bit aggressive, but hey, you got 5 laps to make it work. The Spoon got wrinkled. Stout got, really released out there. Eggert got smashed. Sap got knocked out of a tree. It's bad. Like, look, they're just piling up here. Everybody goes flipping. 54 catches some air. Man, who is that on the side? Holy mess. In 4.5 seconds, G-Unit, 51, pulling away.
Chance Sapp going up and over multiple times on end. His at least heat may be over. He may have to work for the consolation. Here's Shane Tierney, the 59 machine. He's behind the 9 of Dustin Sorber. He's one of the handful, I guess, Terry, to sort of make it out of this wreck. These two trucks remarkably clean despite that huge wreck up at the front of the field, so they're able to keep themselves together. Only question is, do they have enough time as a two-car duo to really catch up to Bradley Wilson? I mean, he's got a huge lead right now. It's about 4 seconds total, but him being by himself, these two trucks being together, it may spell trouble for the 51. As here's a battle for the transfer spot, top 5. That's Mike Clay, the NFL ESPN reporter. We see him in Monday Night Racing often, working behind a couple of trucks here. This is for 5th, so not only is there a potential battle for the lead, Terry, to win the heat, there's a battle to even get into the show in the first place.
Yeah, and they are wrecking like crazy. The 12 was involved in that big wreck. He's got a little bit of damage on the rear tailgate there. 14's going to go up and throw a block on him, but the 14's in the spots you want to be. McConey, Greg that is trying to hope that he can do what he did there. He gets shoved below the yellow line, but I think that's not out of bounds because he did get shoved. But that 14 he's all over the place. He's having a good time out there on the setup.
Well, I don't think he's going to have a good time if he's going to get shuffled out of the top 5, because here comes Mike Clay inside turn 1. It's going to give no help there to the 14 of Ronald Reynolds, and he's just going to have to work behind and potentially make a move here as we get to the white flag. It's still Bradley Wilson up at the front of the field, but the gap has shrunk to 1.5 seconds going back to turn 3. Again, Dustin Sorber and Shane Tierney, the two working together, but there may not be enough time. You continue to watch the battle for what's going to be the transfer spot top 5, where Greg McConey currently holds that spot to get into the feature. Off of turn 4, though, it's the 51, Bradley Wilson to victory lane in the heat. Here's the battle for the top 5. McConey in single file, gonna chase here. A block up the track by Mike Clay. Almost side by side to the line, but it's McConey able to get into the top 5. He's advancing to the feature.
Man, that was so close. I hope we get a shot of that one again. They came across the line. I don't even think you could put a piece of an eraser next to the front bumper of what they had going on. Looking at the results there, look how close that is. I mean, that's a half of a blink.
And so it's Bradley Wilson winning this race. Dustin Sorber, Shane Tierney, Joseph Burgess, and Greg McConey, the top 5 that will advance to the feature to join the 36 others that qualified in on time. Guys like Mike Clay, Ronald Reynolds, Dustin Young, Adam Rohn, Justin Johnson, among those that are going to have to work forward to the consolation race, which will be even shorter. And it'll only be one driver, frankly, Terry Radford, that will make it to the show. So if you thought that was exciting, if you thought that was a huge mess up for those top 5 positions, then it's going to be even wilder to try and win the whole consolation race to get into the entire charity event.
Oh, man. We didn't even get in turn 1. And there was a lot of wrecking going on. And there's some of the people that triggered that big wreck. I mean, you got, right now, your starting lineup for this one's Mike Clay, Ronald Reynolds, Dustin Young, Adam Rohn, Michael Eckhart, and Justin Johnson in the top 6. Now you got Eggert, Teets, Sapp, Baldick, Stout, and Barbary. This is going to be an interesting show with Spoon and Elliott down there in the back. I'm very curious to see, because we saw the 21 of Roan cause a big one. We saw the 04 get collected, the 54 got collected. I mean, all these drivers right here kind of not in a good spot.
It's an end-of-line penalty for Ricky Barbary in the 54. I believe that's for the cause of incident there in that 5-lap heat. So he'll start all the way in the rear for what will be a shorter consolation race. Only 3 laps here, where Mike Clay, the ESPN NFL reporter, will be up at the front of the field alongside Ronald Reynolds. This is going to be interesting here, Terry, not just because it's a 3-lap race and because you have to make your moves very early, because if not, you run out of time. But it's going to be interesting also to see just how hungry the guys that started up at the front of the heat will be for this 3-lap consolation, because they got wrecked up at the front of the field. They probably looked like they were in a good spot, anticipated they were probably going to make the top 5. So they're probably going to be even more hungry now than ever, Terry, to get into the main event.
Block and pray. And you talk about hungry. I was really hungry until about 30 minutes ago when your boy was eating a nice chicken sandwich from Chick-fil-A. Now I'm not so hungry, but I'm hungry to watch some racing. And for Mike Clay and Ronald Reynolds, they were right there. They were on the cusp. They were the outside looking in. I expect just block and pray and getting a single file line or sit there race 2-3 wide. I don't expect to see a lot of craziness or wrecking, but that last lap, that last corner coming to the lap 3, leader's getting turned. I go ahead and just mark my words on that one. The leader's getting turned.
No, I've said it many times before on previous broadcasts, but I guess if it's going to be for a consolation that's only 3 laps long, I'd say, I guess, to the rest of the field, just send it. And if there's a gap, you go for it here at Daytona. You can definitely do so. And I think it's kind of funny. I mentioned hunger, but we just came off of Thanksgiving. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not in the right mindset for it. But nonetheless, we're ready to get green here for this consolation. Again, 3 laps, only 1 driver as you run on board with Jordan Spoon, who's going to be near the rear of the field. He's going to be among the many here that'll try to get that final spot, actually the final 2 spots rather, into the feature race for the Movember charity event. We're green flag racing once again from Daytona, and Mike Clay gets an absolutely perfect start off the jump. It's a very sluggish one out of the outside lane. They're already shuffling 3 wide as they come for turn 1.
It is not what the 88 wanted to see, because now he is a sitting duck. I mean, he is a duck you go to hunt when you're hunting for great meat. And he's sitting out there with that ESPN 88, and they're coming. Here they come, right there. Boom, big run from the 57. He's going to take the shot out here. And now they go to the outside of him. And you said take your shot. I'm easily 3 wide.
And here comes Chance Sapp outside 3 wide. He's got help from the aid of Chaston Teets in the Ford F-150. They're the Caterpillar, a black and yellow machine you see there all the way at the top to the safe repair. Somehow, though, Clay is able to keep that momentum off of turn 4. And as they come for the trial, it looks like Seth Eggert may lead this lap, but it's still 3x3, couple of rows deep. That's even back to turn 1.
A whole lot calmer than what we saw in the initial race for the transfer spot here. But you see the bottom start to have the momentum. The pusher back there, Michael's having a little bit of issues staying on the rear bumper of Seth Eggert, but it's a good thing for Eggert to be out front. No run to the outside, a little bit to the middle, and the 88 gets turned. They're all wrecking.
Clay turned around, multiple drivers get in at the ESPN truck, absolutely torn up as he goes straight for the infield grass. That leaves only 4 trucks up to the front of the field. Here comes Justin Johnson. Inside move to the 15 of Michael Eckhart. Eckhart's going to stay back. They're all going to remain single file. And as they come off turn 4, they'll reach to the white flag the final time in this consolation race. There's going to be a lot of movement here between the top 4. Remember, top 2 get in.
Looking at Jordan Spoon right here. If he wins this race, he's going to be happier than a spoon on Thanksgiving. Look at him. Driving the bottom, pushing Eggert. He's staying about a fraction of a second off of the back bumper of the 57. The 2 behind him, now the 3 behind him, have kind of backed off waiting for the run, but he's focused. He has the eye of the tiger. Can he turn him?
He may most likely wait till turn 4. He's going to give a big shove, though. Almost to the 57. A big one there. Almost taking the 57 out of shape. Now here comes Eckhart. Here comes the 8 of Teets. Outside for the final time off turn 4. Banging door. 57 gets turned as they come for the trial. Well, Justin Johnson gets turned as well. And it's Jordan Spoon from 13th to victory here in the consolation.
Holy mess. Oh my goodness. Hey, look at him. Look at the smile. Man, he's like, I didn't turn him. I didn't mean to turn him. There ain't no way I turned him. Little lip reading there. I didn't think I was going to do it, but he turned him, and he got the win.
Spoon plays it perfect after starting 13th on the grid for the consolation. He wins. He gets into the big show. Michael Eckhart, the only other driver to join him. Those are the top 2 that'll join the rear of the field for this event. Chaston Teets just barely short, along with Eric Stout for 3rd and 4th. Seth Eggert in the top 5. Dustin Young will be back in 6th. Ricky Barbary, after suffering the end of line penalty for this event, he ends up 7th. Ronald Reynolds will be 8th. Justin Johnson in 9th. Mike Clay will round out the top 10 for the whole entire consolation. Chance Sapp, Adam Rome, Brett Baldick, and Chris Elliott among the drivers that unfortunately will miss the show here tonight from Daytona. Well, Terry, we get to take our breath for a minute. We get to hold ourselves sort of composed until the 100-lap feature. Stay with us, though, on Podium Esports. We've got more to come for Saturday for the boys, benefiting Movember, hosted by McConey Setup Shop. We'll be right back from the Daytona International Speedway.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. There's a reason that McConey Setup Shop is trusted by more virtual and real-world tracks and companies than any other setup shop in iRacing. With partners such as Stafford Motor Speedway, the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, Five Flag Speedway, Speed 51, and more. When you want something done right, you go to the experts at McConey Setup Shop.
With setups available for most series on both asphalt and dirt, built by a team of professional builders consisting of some of the top talents on the service, McConey Setup Shop LLC has what you need to hit the track with confidence. Head over to McConeySetupShop.com and learn why McConey Setup Shop is the official setup shop of Richmond Raceway Esports and is partnered with some of the largest names in virtual and real racing.
And remember, at McConey Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Start your engines!
4, 3, 2, 1, green screen. No laser grip whatsoever, up sideways. Sideways everywhere. Come on, man, do what you can. The vibration in this car is the worst vibration that I've ever had, and the shifter's broken again.
Welcome back to live coverage of Saturday for the Boys, benefiting Movember, hosted by McConey Setup Shop. We are far from over from this exciting night here tonight from the virtual Daytona International Speedway. We're alongside Terry Radford. My name is Kenneth Bueno. Terry, we just saw wild racing in both the heat race, consolation. We advanced a couple of drivers. Now we're ready for the big show. We're not playing the dash game anymore. We're playing a long 100-lap race all the way to the finish. What can we expect here from Daytona?
Man, I tell you, the racing on the track is going to get rowdy. So I figured, why not pump my heart up too? So I'm going to smash this rowdy. We're going to take this green flag and we're going to get more excited than Ric Flair in a wrestling ring. Woo!
We're all ready for it. It's an exciting night here tonight from Daytona, and we are ready to head trackside, where we will bring you your starting grid for tonight's 100-lap feature. See exactly where every driver and your favorite driver will be starting here tonight on the main field. Michael Fahey will be the fastest of them all from qualifying, 52.504 to be the pole sitter, with Chris Peters to his outside. Tim Tripler in the 71 will be on inside row 2. Jeremy Stanley will follow through to the outside of that row. Chris Ruiz in the 11 and Daniel Sweat in the 07 will round out the drivers from the top 6, Terry.
Derek Rice, the man who eats rice with a fork, starts on row 4. Mark Stewart to his outside. James Morgan, Brandon Miminik. Yeah, I think that's it. Kenneth Bishop, and the man who built the setup and put this together, Mr. McConey, starting in row 6.
Back to row 7, top 14, Joey Masowicz in the 64. If you saw him on Podium Esports, he was part of the All-American Esports 400 not too long ago. James J. Dewar will be on his outside before you find Keaton Burnett and Dustin Logston in the 34 for row 8. It'll be Garen Wolfenbarger in the 32 and Blair Patterson in the 91 to round out your top 18.
Anthony Rennick out there on row 10 next to Rance Brown. Miles Morse and Gilliam Hazelnut is in row 11. See, I got that one right. Kenny Hyatt and Justin Malillo, the advertising king.
Brandon Pearl in the 61 be inside row 13 with Sammy Lackey to his outside. It'll be a duo of Michael Peters in the 95, Ron Harrington, before you find Chris Jones and Jeffrey Eddy to your top 30.
Yeah, coming out here outside of 30th, Drew Blaze, Josh Stoltz, Joshua Abbey, James Watson, Carl Burke, and Scott Bryant, row 18.
Behind them, Bradley Wilson. These are among the drivers that made it from the heats and the consolation. Dustin Sorber, Shane Tierney, Joseph Burgess, Greg McConey, Jordan Spoon back to row number 21. Final driver in this entire 43-car field will be the driver of the 15, Michael Eckhart, who made it in from the consolation race. Well, everybody's all doubled up. We're ready to go green here, where Michael Fahey and Chris Peters will bring us to the green. It's a longer race, Terry. I know we're going to get rowdy. We're going to get a little bit chaotic. But if you want to find victory here at Daytona, how do you get here before we go green?
Patience. We were talking to McConey and then before the race started. Patience is key. Avoid the big one is the biggest key here, because you don't know where it's going to happen, but it's when it's going to happen. Got a couple fast spares in your back pocket, but let's not use them up. Let's get some green flag racing and run 100 so we can give some money to charity.
100 laps on tap here from the Daytona International Speedway, 250 miles. Again, just like Terry said, it's all for charity. Pace car down to pit road. Michael Fahey brings us to the green. We're underway for Saturday for the Boys, benefiting Movember, hosted by McConey Setup Shop.
Man.
Lap 1, start of lap 2. It is still Michael Fahey and Chris Peters battling for the top spot, but there's a wreck behind them. Couple of trucks spinning around, and caution flag waves for the first time here tonight. Over the 100 laps, I believe most of the trucks were able to get themselves back to straight, but it was an early spin here coming out of the tri-oval in that chute back to turn 1, where we have our first caution of the night, Terry. It's our first lap. I know a lot of drivers get very antsy, and unfortunately some of them make contact early.
Well, it's just a little finding your rhythm. A lot of these drivers have never really raced with each other. You see the stack up there, it happens like 15 cars ahead of where the initial or the secondary wreck had happened, but it's just a getting the feel of everybody. You come into the corners, you're trying to get the side draft, you're trying to put yourself in position to get the track position, because I know it's a restrictor plate and you can come from anywhere, but track position's key. People trying to make moves to the bottom didn't really pan out for them, and then it just stacked the field up from behind there. One checkup caused a hole trigger with the 16. He goes hard into the wall, and then everybody else behind him just has to back it down and hope to miss the chaos.
And that was Guillaume Hesnal, the French driver in the 16, staying up late for this charity event. Unfortunately, gets a spin here early on and some significant damage to that Toyota Tundra. Take a look again, and I'm not sure whether it was a faulty bump there, Terry, but it just looks like the truck gets all unsettled, and then he goes for a spin. Luckily, there's not many other drivers involved. One almost hits the inside wall. Another one goes for the spin. I believe it's the 19 machine that we can see on screen. There's a couple drivers behind them. There's the 13, that's Spoon, who got in from the heat race. And then everybody goes spinning. It's easily the caution flag. Lights are out on the pace car, and it's our first caution of the night, where Michael Fahey, I think he can breathe for a moment, because that was a good battle between him and Chris Peters before we had that yellow.
Yeah, they were being very respectful up front with how they were making the moves. I was watching Peters. He would go down and side drop just a little bit, and he was hoping to get a shot from Stanley. Didn't happen to get it. But it's always interesting to see how drivers come into their own as the race progresses, especially when you come into a race like this, where I know that Tripler's never raced with Fahey or Sweat or any of these other drivers, and he's sitting there in P3. It's always good to see new people come in and do a race like this, and hopefully this is the last caution we see.
Hopefully it is. Everybody's all calmed down, ready to go back green. We still have the 2 to green signal. We're still waiting to get ourselves back under green flag circumstances. Well, for this Saturday for the boys, benefiting Movember event hosted by McConey Setup Shop, we'll let you know that the whole entire event is brought to you by Martin Sports. Founded by Scott Martin nearly 10 years ago in the frozen region of Michigan's Upper Peninsula, Martin Sports strives for the best custom apparel for your needs. Whether you need shirts for your office, jerseys for a local sports team, or specially designed apparel for your sim racing group, Martin Sports has got you covered. Along with shirts and other team wear, they also offer gloves specially crafted for sim racing that are lightweight, breathable, and complete with padded leather palms. Use code PODIUM today to receive 25% off any racing glove at martinsports906.com. You can also find them at facebook.com/martinsports. Great running there for Martin Sports to sponsor this event, but so far, I think a lot of these drivers gripping their Martin Sports gloves very carefully here in the opening laps here from Daytona International Speedway. We'll also let you know that if you want to join the show and join events like this, you can get an iRacing account today for the iRacing Black Friday sale, the biggest event and the biggest sale on iRacing all year long. If you're a new driver, get 50% off new signups and new memberships. If you're planning to renew your account, it's the right time to do it around this time of year. 25% off renewals on the iRacing platform. It's all through December 4th. So if you want to start your sim racing career today, head to iRacing.com/Black Friday to get all the deals on iRacing.com. You can maybe join some of these charity events or any of the leagues that we broadcast here on Podium Esports. Make yourself a new name into the sim racing world. Well, it's 1 to green on the iRacing official pace car, so that signifies we are going green next time by. And Terry, a little bit hectic to start. I think we probably had that expected from the drop of the green in practice, but nonetheless, everybody ready to get settled, and I think maybe some drivers took some notes, perhaps, and maybe they're a little bit nervous.
Yeah, I'm hoping that the crowd out there really enjoy what we're doing. I mean, I see a couple people in there wanting to know how, what I'm on. Rowdy energy, of course. There's no other thing to be on. We did expect some crazy racing, and I think tonight, with the circumstances that happen across the board, everybody wants to win this race because your name's going to be out there. This is a chance for some of these drivers that have never raced on a stage like this in a big event to go, hey, I won this, and it follows them around. They're like, hey, aren't you the guy that won the Movember event? Yeah, that was me. And then everybody loves them.
You know what? It's fitting, I think, that you have the Rowdy Energy in your hand. And guess what? I mean, we can get away with it. We've got Rowdy Energy sponsoring Monday Night Racing, which we're both on every Monday night. So I think it's fitting. I think they will enjoy the fact that you have a Rowdy Energy in your hand right now.
I hope that they do. I hope that they do. I mean, it's green tea based, and it's just amazing. It helps a guy like me with bad kidneys come out here and call these races and just get absolutely amped. I'm amped. Because the iRace and iFlag, yellow flag, throw it on the ground. Barney, wave that green flag, baby. Show me some racing footage.
Ready for the green pace car down. Again, it's Michael Fahey, Chris Peters, the gridlock on the starting grid. Back to the green flag. It's a good start from Fahey in the 19. Although he's going to be looking in his rearview mirror for any sort of help. It's a sluggish start once again for the outside group, in which Peters has to try and find some help. But as they come for the 31 degrees of banking in turn one, bit of separation. But as they come for the back straightaway, you'll see them all accordion back together.
This is, sorry, I got choked up there. This is a product of gear shifting. Your gear shifter as you come through. Some people use paddles. Some people use the actual shifter itself. And for the people on the outside road, those restarts typically spin the tires a ton. So you see the Nerditudes guy at 44 there, Mr. Stanley, he takes the lead. Now you got the 23 on the outside, 19 to the bottom. It's a product of how you can get off this restart. They bunch back up, thank goodness. Coming back here, we're going to complete lap number 6, put 7 on the board. But this is about to get wild. I smell a trouble brewing.
There was already an antsy move there from Stanley to even get the race lead on the back straightaway. Helped up top, moved down low, and all of a sudden that Ford F-150, the black and green machine, all the way at the front of the field. Chris Peters still the lone man up top with help from there. I believe that's by Chris Ruiz in the number 11 machine, or actually it is Chris Ruiz in the 11 machine. Some help down low by James Morgan and Michael Fahey here. But it is still 2x2, a bunch of rows deep. Nobody else has looked for that third lane up at the top tier. I know which one we're talking about, that one tucked up right to the safety barrier. Some drivers in real life would call it the Dale line. Some fans would also call it the Dale line, but nobody's been able to look there up there just yet. It's still side by side, inside and middle, a bit of swerving there from Peters.
I don't see a whole lot of people wanting to take that third line just yet. That's the line that you go to when you give no more cares. You're going to jump up there and make the run on the outside happen. But for these guys right now, they're kind of waving back and forth. It's like they can't keep it straight with how much turbulence is going on. And especially for the people on the middle line, you would never believe this on a plate track, especially here at Daytona, but the middle line is the line to be in, because you get such a run from the side draft and you get the shove from the back bumper. So you're able to get the momentum to get you around. But that butt kicker, 44, he's holding them all at bay. He's still holding the lead.
He's able to keep it stable, but I saw a bunch of swerving near the rear of the field, including Justin Melillo, a couple of guys near the top side and the back side of the field. They were all over the place on the back straightaway, I guess just trying to get themselves accustomed, maybe get themselves another draft. It is very, very important, though, for them to keep their truck stable, because they want to be battling up at the front. They want to win this Movember charity event. And guess who wants to win as well? James Morgan, the 43 machine, up to the top of the racetrack. He was the third truck on the inside lane, just behind pole sitter Michael Fahey. Now he's going to get help from Chris Peters, and now the Chevrolet Silverado to the front as one truck goes to the inside, spins around, but we stay green.
Yeah, 15 goes around there in the back, but we did get to stay green, didn't collect anybody else. It was just a bump in the wrong spot, but you see the separation. The 43 jumped out of line, caused a big disturbance in a checkup from everybody else behind him on the bottom lane. He gets to the lead on the outside, and he drag races the 44 right there of Stanley all the way around this track. It's going to be interesting to see. You see the 23. He comes down to side draft. The car pushes big wreck at the back. I think that's Spoon.
Couple of drivers involved. I saw the 48 Keaton Burnett get sideways on the infield grass on the trial, but that was not the cause of yellow. It is Anthony Rennick in the 21 machine that I believe is the main concern here, where he gets a tap and a couple other trucks go around behind him. I think he was a part of it, but he wasn't directly the truck to get involved. You look a little bit further back in the field, a lot of separation near the rear, but when they start to pack up, they really start to pack up, check it up a little bit, and that's a big wreck there, Terry, for the 8 machine, I believe, that went up on his side. And multiple trucks, much like lap 1, get some damage, but this is arguably the most damage-filled wreck of the night so far, lap 10.
Talked about not taking it 3 wide. That's when your cares go out the window. And as they go 3 wide, everybody's jockeying for position. We talked about the wiggling of the trucks where the turbulence really wasn't there. One car goes in the grass. There's the 48. He slides down, and then all heck breaks loose. Pandemonium goes crazy. Everybody's moving around, having a lot of fun. Next thing you know, one car goes up into another, hits into the wall, and then boom goes the dynamite.
Mark Stewart in the 8 machine, the one that gets absolutely the worst of it. There's on board just behind. I believe that's Jordan Spoon.
Oh, that's right.
Rice, rather. all the way behind there, hopping on the binders, and he's able to get away from all of the madness. But he's going to be one of, I believe, a couple of drivers to hit pit road. And just to mention here tonight, Terry, we haven't mentioned it all night long before we started, but there are 2 faster pairs available to these drivers. So let's say they do end up in an incident like that one, coming out of the corner and having a bit of damage on their trucks, they can go down pit road, check that box, and get a quick fix, and be able to get pretty much a clean Chevrolet Silverado, Ford F-150, Toyota Tundra, whatever mark it is. They're able to get a completely clean truck and head on for the rest of the event. But that will play very important here, Terry, because if you get into a bunch of wrecks, you're using those faster pairs quick, and you don't really want to use them this early in the race.
No, 11 laps into the race, you don't want to use it. We got the faster pairs out there to complete all the laps. We want every driver here this afternoon to complete 100% of the duration of this race. We don't want them to come out here and tear their stuff up and get all mad at one another. You know how people on iRacing get. Everybody wants to win. You don't want to get jumbled up in the infield here. Everybody just calm down. Drink some Rowdy Energy, and I mean, let's just mellow out together.
Well, I think Rowdy Energy would do the opposite, right? I mean, it would get you amped up, not make you calm in a situation like Daytona, perhaps?
Well, I mean, picture this. Story time with Terry. You're sitting on your front porch. A nice little thunderstorm comes rolling in like it does in Daytona. You got you a nice Rowdy Energy right there on your side, maybe a cold beer on the left. Who knows? You're just doing what you're doing. You're watching the storms roll through. You're just calm as a cucumber, just sitting there, sipping on your Rowdy, sipping on your beer, having a good little night. And then boom, storm's over, chaos ensues, everybody's doing stuff. It seems like a mellow time to me.
You know what? I think we should make that a Podium Esports program. Tales with Terry.
That would be scary.
Like a rocking chair, maybe like a porch. I don't know. We could get that happening in Sim somewhere. We can find the track that had the seating background for all of that. But nonetheless, while we're still under the yellow flag, if you look to the bottom right, that is part of our sponsorship tonight. It's iRacing iFlag and their visual flag system. The latest version of the iRacing iFlag visual system is better than ever and even easier to install. For more information, please visit iRacingIFlag.com, and you can use code PODIUMFAN for 15% off anything. Big thank you to iRacing iFlag for their support of Podium Esports and tonight's Movember charity event. You'll be seeing that all night long on the bottom right when we have yellow flags. It'll be blinking, but hopefully we don't see a lot of yellows, Terry, from the moment on, as it'll go lights out here on the iRacing official pace car, and we'll be ready to head back for green flag racing. So a bit of chaos. I think we've got a bit rowdy, and hopefully we can have some calm racing, but I don't think that's going to happen because it's Daytona, it's trucks. You have a package like this, you're going to put them all out.
Well, I tell you, I mean, iRacing iFlag sponsored the All-American 400, and man, he had the premier spot on this screen. Might get his money's worth here. He's already got 2. We can get us a little counter out there in the chat if they want to, and keep up here, because I'm going to get too out of control here when this race gets rolling again, and we'll get down to the end. I might forget a corner or two. Who knows? I mean, there's a lot going on up here. It's like I was telling the producer, it's like a monkey just sitting there in your head beating on the cymbals. There's a lot going on, but none of it's useful.
You know what? I think it's better that we're not physically in the broadcast booth, because we'd have to use binoculars to see everything that's happening on the other end of the speedway. Thankfully, we have cameras on the iRacing sim, so if everything's going on at once, we can still try and see it. We'll have a better portion. There's a look at the booth. I mean, it's limited. It's limited to the trial, so if you see something happen in the trial, I guess you got your money's worth, but anything on the back straightaway, I think, is pretty much gone out of the equation whatsoever. But nonetheless, thankful we're in the sim, as James Morgan and Jeremy Stanley are going to be the first 2, the 44 and the 43, to lead us back to green. So it's a full different row 1 look than what we saw at the drop of the green flag. If you're looking for the 2 that started up at the front, Michael Fahey and Chris Peters, the only movement they made has been 1 row back to row number 2. They'll be supporting the top 2 leaders as they come for the trial. Well, pace car makes the left down at pit road. Lap 13 will be complete. Lap 14 will be underway from the virtual Daytona International Speedway. We continue the Movember charity event hosted by McConey Setup Shop with Jeremy Stanley at the front of the field.
Oh, man, and he got left. I mean, they dropped him. 23, Chris Peters dropped all the way down to the bottom. He was on the back bumper of that 43, and he's dropping like a brick in a pond. all the way back to the back of that line he goes. And now you see 3 wide. They're opening it up again because he couldn't get on the gas hard enough.
Couple of drivers looking for that outside lane as James Morgan gets stuck through the middle. I believe that's Brandon Minnick in the 56. Indeed it is. That Ford F-150 tried to make the third line feasible. There was nobody else to help him, so he's now going to go back to the middle line, support James Morgan, and have a bit of help there behind him as well, but is swerving near the rear of the field. But as for the moment, the top line trying to find some sort of that momentum, and it gets tough near the middle of the field because when you're pushing a driver, Terry, chances are you're not really seeing anything in front of you. You're just seeing the back bumper and the spoiler of what's out in front. As I look at Jeff McConey, I think can help us a bit with that perspective. He's got a bit of a distance to the truck in front, but actually going to make a pass here on the 13. That's Spoon in the machine that won the heat earlier tonight. But when you're behind the truck, Terry, you're not really going to be seeing much out of that front windshield. But I guess it's better when you're seeing trucks on the side going around as you make up position.
All you see is their name and the back of their head and their helmet. But you see that look right there with McConey. All smiles for a guy back there trying to race through this pack. I mean, normally you don't see that at a plate track, especially here at Daytona, because there's not a whole lot of places to pass. We talked about it. You don't want to go up against the wall so soon. When a wreck happens in front of you, well, you ain't got nowhere to go. And the only place for people to go is the back end of you. So for him to be smiling back there, man, that's that puts a smile on my face that we got people back here happy to be racing the event.
Definitely a lot of fun here for the Movember charity event. Of course, Jeff McConey, part of the McConey Setup Shop hosting of tonight, and of course supporting the Movember charity event. And we talked to him before the race started. He said he was going to donate $1.76 per lap. Every lap that he completes here tonight over the 100 lap feature will go to charity as he goes for the inside grass. And there might have been some sort of issue near the rear of the field, but we continue to stay green. McConey unfortunately getting the worst stand. He slows down significantly. He's going to fall out of that main pack. There he is, the 03 Chevrolet Silverado. Checked up, had a bit of a hop over the infield grass. And now all by himself. We'll take a look at the replay. I'm not sure whether a driver got loose here, Terry. Maybe a bit of a wobble by the driver up in front, but it looked like McConey was trying to avoid something big. Right there was the checkup. Nobody gets around, so no caution flies, but McConey goes a bit of dirt racing, I guess, over in the grass and then hops back onto the racing surface.
Oh, heck, he's just getting ready for Monday night when we go to Knoxville, Iowa to sling some mud at the dirt. Hey, whatever practice works, Jeff. I mean, if it helps you to sling it like air, kind of reminded me of Cars. You know, when Lightning McQueen goes riding down in there and then he says you got to turn left to go right, and he's just back there wheeling that thing. I really wish we had an in-car shot of him sitting there. I bet he about pooped himself.
No, that's fair. Extra practice for Knoxville in a couple of days' time. Why not have it at Daytona here for the Movember event? There's Brandon Pearl in the number 61 machine. He's moved up so far 5 spots up from the P25 starting position, currently in P20 as he works the outside lane. And he, like many others, Terry, are trying to look for momentum up at the top just because there's not as much checking up on that top lane. Normally at the super speedway races, you'll see a lot of drivers tuck to that double yellow line, but the big sort of denominator there, the big detriment to them riding around that part of the track altogether is that when they get real close, they start to check up, they hop on the brakes, they lay off the throttle, and what that does is pretty much create a domino effect. Everybody behind them end up checking up, and then you get the inside line get a little bit slower, but the outside line, that middle line, and the third line specifically, they don't really have that problem when they get a bunch of trucks up there, so they're able to take the momentum off of the corners and specifically off of the banking to get a run. So Brandon Pearl and even James Morgan up at the front of the field is trying to do that as they go even with race leader here coming back to turn 1 and 2.
You know, on the outside lane, you can get away with just a little bit more of being more aggressive in the corners. You see right there where Fahey was on the back bumper of the 43, and now he's just going to jump to the outside. Goes all the way out there to the back. But you can get away with just a tad bit more pushing. On the bottom, if you push somebody, they're going to touch that yellow line. They're going to shoot up the racetrack, or just the opposite. You could have somebody touch it as they're wrecking. Big, ooh, this is big. Oh, this is meaty. They're stacking them up, boys. All of them's gone.
It's the huge one here at Daytona, lap 19. It started with Brandon Minnick in the 56 who tried to go back down the track after almost making it 3 wide. And that inadvertently creates a large stack up out of turn 4. That's the biggest wreck here tonight in the Movember charity event. Again, most of these guys do have faster cars, so the race isn't over, but I mean, this would definitely hurt their chances of winning if that ends up becoming terminal here. Take a look at it. That's the 56, that bright yellow machine that he made a third line here, Terry. Try to get to the outside of James Morgan, the leader on the outside lane, then gets caught up with the 23 on the way back down the track. Bit of contact there, but that's enough to send them up the wall, and then everybody just goes all over the place. It's a big hit for many.
Man, I mean, that's a blender hit right there. It's side drafting. You know, it's a product of restrictor plate racing. You don't have a choice at all to go down, try to take some speed off of somebody. You got to do it, and it just so happened not to work. Oh my goodness. Oh man, I'd love to be in VR right now. Look at that hit. Look at the parking lot. There's a parking lot on the entrance of pit road.
That was Sorber there that had the largest hit. There's another look. That's Peters in the 23 that gets involved. The driver who started on the outside of row 1 along with Fahey. And then even from this perspective, coming into pit road, it's just a large stack up that spans from the outside wall all the way to the inside grass and that wall, respectively. Multiple trucks go up and over, a lot of them with bent up sheet metal. And it is what I think a lot of drivers don't like to see at the super speedways, Terry, and what they expect at the same time, the big one.
Well, that wreck right there was something that flex glue is not going to. So a lot of those drivers are sitting there and they're hoping they didn't have to use a fast repair, right? And that's a ton of people's mindset going into one of these races. Don't use the fast repair now. You're 20 laps into this race. You have 80 to go. So take one off. So there's one that's done. Now they have to be more careful for the second one. And then when they use that second one, it's like, oh man, I can't really put myself in a bad position. And then it just affects the end of the race. So you don't want to be riding on the razor blade at the end of this one and hoping that you get through to the end. But hey, checkers are wreckers, baby.
I think that's what we're all about here from Daytona as the caution flag waves again. We saw a lot of the leaders come down pit road, but that does give the lead actually to Mark Stewart, Michael Peters, Jeremy Stanley. Actually, Jeremy Stanley, Drew Blaze, a lot of the drivers behind the leaders at the time of caution, they ended up going down pit road, a lot of them for what's going to be fuel here because they can't make it all the way on their tank of gas. So we'll see just how much that affects the racing, whether that affects any strategy. We'll just have to see what happens as the caution continues to be flown here from Daytona. Well, it'll be our time to let you know that the Movember charity event hosted by McConey Setup Shop is of course brought to you by McConey Setup Shop. The McConey Setup Shop is your home for iRacing setups and the official setup shop of Richmond Raceway Esports, a team over in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series. From legends to cup cars, we have you covered with dirt setups available for late models, modifieds, and wing sprints as well. At McConey Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories. Their newest book, How I Drive, featuring a foreword by Anthony Alfredo, is now available. Come learn from the pros how to be the best driver you can be. For more info, visit McConeySetupShop.com. Great to know that McConey Setup Shop is part of this great charity event here for the Movember Foundation. So far, we've had a total raised of $1,275.69. So it's been a great showing so far on the foundation. If you want to get involved, by the way, you can hop over in chat and type !MO for a chance to donate to the Movember Foundation for a Men's Mental Health Awareness Month in the month of November. Of course, for a great cause for men. And all that they do. I mean, the Movember Foundation, definitely great for the men's cause, and it's great to see what they can do, and great to see that they're involved also in the sim racing world and helping a lot of people as well. Well, we're ready to go back to green flag racing. We'll have a different look up at the front of the field. If you didn't know who was in the booth, it's myself, Kenneth Bueno, Terry Radford alongside myself. It's Ryan Bauer producing us all night long. Cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Bauer bringing us all the great shots, making the trucks look good, and it's a beautiful sim night here in Daytona. Has done a great job so far, making the trucks look as pristine as possible. We're ready to get things kicked off for lap 23 of 100. Different look again, as I say, at the front of the field. Mark Stewart, Michael Peters, the 38, and the 95, the two trucks ready to bring us back to green in row number 1. Pace cars down, still not through a quarter of this race yet, but it's Mark Stewart back to the green flag from Daytona.
He got a very impressive start right there. He was able to get the 44 to give him a shove, and that propels that Chevrolet to the lead. Third place on back on the inside road. Kind of had a little bit of a bobble with the push that happened. The outside can't maintain what they're doing, but here they come off the exit of turn 2. They're going to rocket down this back straightaway and hope to find some momentum.
Oh, might be trouble there, though, for Mark Stewart and his machine. He almost gave the look there to the 44 machine of Stanley. A bunch of trucks bobble around. There's James Morgan to split it 3, make it down low, and again, it's side by side for the front spot in the field. This time, Drew Blaze up at the top of that first row. He's going to have help from pole sitter Michael Fahey. A couple of trucks go into the grass, but we stay green. It's dead even as they come back to the tri-oval.
Man, this race, 23 laps in, is getting mighty exciting. You see them 2 by 2. They keep going back and forth. You see people shooting it 2 wide, 3 wide. At one point in time, I saw 4 wide on the back straightaway. Everybody's going for position. And if you scan that QR code that just popped up there, right there on your screen, that's going to take you to the Movember donation spot where you can go out there and pledge some money too. I know a couple people that we can. Let's raise that $12.75 up just a little bit. Let's shoot that over like, I don't know, $2,000 range. I think we can do that. I'll actually shave my legs for this one. I shaved my hair. And this time, let's shave some legs. If you want to see some very beautiful legs, mind you, with some great tattoos on them, scan the code. Let's raise some money. We get the $2,000. I'll shave my legs.
Podium Esports Modeling, question mark? We can have that down for the Movember Charity Foundation. Nonetheless, it is great racing, though, up at the front. Drew Blaze just continues to work on that outside lane. Fahey giving him that shove. And as they continue around, I mean, there's a big mental part, Terry, to this super speedway racing because, I mean, I know as a sim racer, I don't like to be in super speedway situations just because I'm all over the place. I'm tense all over the time. But for these guys, they got to somewhat forcefully remain calm because it's only the first 25 laps. We've had a couple of crashes, but they do want to get to the greater goal of winning this entire charity event and carrying the bragging rights that goes along with it. So, I mean, there's a lot of tension coming at the front of the field and trying to make sure you can keep your truck stable while also making sure you've got enough trap to hang in with the field. Here's Jeff McConey. For an example, he's got the VR set up. You can see what he's seeing on the right side and on the left side here on the TV screen in his VR setup as he's in the middle of the field. There's a way from Jeff McConey himself, and we'll bring him into the booth. How about our in-race supporter here for the Movember charity event? Jeff, you've got a good look through the field. What's it like out there?
Yeah, you're giving a whole new meaning to in-race reporting here. My God. This is insanity. We're 3 wide. This is, whoa, we're good. We're good. Yeah, this is absolute insanity. But Joey Manwich behind me.
Manwich, baby.
Yeah, he goes, well, we got a damaged car and 2 fast repairs. I said, go for it. I said, big money, no whammies, and here we are. We're driving all the way up through the field. This is insane.
Jeffrey McConey, it's Terry Radford from the podium booth, man. What's up? Do you have seatbelts on by chance?
I do. I've got a 4-point harness I got off a go-kart.
My man.
2003. So, yeah, we got the seatbelt. This rig is, look at this. This rig is so janky, the whole thing shakes.
Well, stop doing that before you wreck the field, McConey.
I'm not going to wreck the field. Don't worry. I'm out here having a blast.
Well, it's definitely a great event. Oh, go ahead, Jeff.
No, what? I said, watch this. We're going to be in the lead here shortly, guaranteed.
Anyway, we're rocking the outside lane, so I figure you guys are going to get up there very shortly. I mean, you're part of this entire event. You hosted this event here in the Movember charity event. So, I mean, what's it like being a part of this, and what's it like being a racer in a field and an event that you host here from Daytona?
Well, it's definitely a lot of fun. It's very stressful, though, because I was not locked in. We had 55, I think it was 55 drivers show up. Only 43 got locked in. Oh, we sent some big names home, but maybe not enough as we are really checking up here. But it's so much fun. You know, you put together these events and so much, you know, blood, sweat, and tears goes into it. You put in so much time and effort to really make it as good an event as possible and make sure everyone has fun. And the main goal is to raise money for charity. You want to come out here and raise as much money as you can. Last I saw before the race even started, we were at $1,300. And with another $200 pledged. So when, you know, you're out here and you're raising all this money and you're having a really great time, it's an amazing feeling. Even when we're running like this and getting pushed down below the double yellow, we're still having fun because it's all for a great cause. So it's really humbling, especially for this event in particular, Movember. They deal especially with men's-specific cancers, men's mental health, and all of these things that don't really get talked about as much as maybe they should. And it's been recently a real push in order to help with these sorts of things. And I know a lot of people here have personal connections to it. We all know, iRacing is predominantly men. We all know men in our lives, whether it's friends, family, grandfathers, uncles, everyone that you know. And so it hits close to home for a lot of us. And what's really cool is all the stories that people came and told me. Someone that actually didn't make the race sadly tonight was Eric Stout, and he's actually an ambassador for Movember. And he's just an incredible, incredible person, great racer, great friend. But the work that he's done through this charity and the work that this charity has done it's really something special. So to raise as much money as we have and see the community come together, oh wow, oh we're going through the grass. We're good. Hang on 1 second, please. 1 second.
Caution's out.
Okay, we're good. So to see all of this come together and raise so much money with over $1,500 pledged by the end of the night is really phenomenal and really special. So if you can't tell, I'm having a lot of fun here. It's somehow still in one piece.
It's a lot of fun, but I can imagine a lot of stress. I mean, over the course of that whole interview, you raised your voice until maybe 4 times for almost wrecks, and then this wreck here. So, Jeff, we'll let you go and focus, but want to thank you so much for your support of this Movember charity, man. It's been a lot of fun having you a part of the promotion and, of course, the event here tonight itself from Daytona. So we'll let you get back to it. Wish you the best of luck for the rest of the race.
I appreciate it, and I got to thank everybody here. All my usual sponsors, McConey Setup Shop, Podium Esports, Martin Sports, iRacing, iFlag, Overton Speed Shop, everybody, but especially the people this is really cool, that came on board as lap pledge sponsors, where for every lap I complete, they donate money. So I personally have, $1.76 raised per lap that I complete. So 30 laps in, that's roughly that's about $50 by my quick math, 45, $50 somewhere in there. And so that's Team 126 Racing, the Joe Six Pack podcast, and then we actually had an anonymous donor in gratitude to Memorial Sloan Kettering Hospital, it's really cool. And I know there's another 136 promised if I win, so I'm really trying to win because it's going to raise even more money. That's my goal tonight. I think I'm going to stay out here just for funsies.
Well, Jeff, a lot of money raised. I'm sure there'll be a lot more raised over the course of the night. Jeff, again, thank you so much for taking the time to be our in-race reporter here from Daytona. Wish you the best of luck for the rest of the event.
Thank you so much. I'll talk to you guys soon.
That's Jeff McConey, the in-race supporter. In-race, I guess, immersive in-race supporter here tonight from Daytona. Great to see that he's having a great time. I can imagine a lot of the other drivers here tonight having a great time on behalf of supporting the Movember Charity Foundation. Let's take a look, Terry Radford, at what happened with this recent caution that Jeff gave us a first-person perspective of what's like to avoid one in the middle of the field. But it started with Josh Stoltz and Garrett Wolfenbarger on the back straightaway. A lot of these drivers were 3 wide, trying to make some of these moves, and maybe when you swerve a little bit, trying to make a side draft, it gets very hairy. And for Wolfenbarger there, tried to make the middle, got into Stoltz, and that's what causes another big one on the back straightaway.
Yeah, it's hairy like my legs. You see the squirreliness there, and right when the 90 turned, he caught right on the end, and that is a ton of damage. A lot of them trying to go to the road course portion. Sorry, boys, that just happened. We did the Mazdas here. We didn't do the trucks. Looking at the 11, the onboard here, you see the move getting made, just a little bit squirrely, getting a tap. The tap in the wrong spot is really the biggest key here, because if you touch them on the right side of the quarter panel or right on the back bumper, a little bit skewed, it's going to make the back end want to push, and then the front end's going to want to push down. So you push up, you push down, and you see the push there. Here it comes, tap, boom, gone.
And it also looked like Stoltz probably was just aiming to clear, because at the moment Wolfenbarger was really the only driver in that middle lane trying to kind of split it through the middle, but really didn't have any help. So by the time Stoltz was moving down, perhaps it looked like an attempt to maybe clear and just get it back into the draft and help some on the outside lane. But unfortunately, Wolfenbarger and Stoltz are the cause of this incident here on lap 33 of 100. So that'll move a lot of drivers to the rear. It'll bring some drivers to the front who missed the entire ordeal. And for some, they may have to utilize the faster pair over the course of tonight's race. There have been a handful that have used both faster pairs tonight, among those Brandon Minnick in the 56. We saw him in an earlier crash here tonight. He has used both faster pairs as of lap 33. Other drivers also involved. Anthony Rennick, he's used both faster pairs tonight, so he's going to be out of those for the rest of the evening. That's going to be really tough for them, because we're not even halfway through this race, Terry. We've still got a long way to go, and they got to make sure their trucks are pristine and clean, which arguably is really, really hard to do at super speedways, I can imagine.
Yeah, and to quote the great DJ Collick, another one. Another read down there for iRacing iFlags. He's getting his bang for his buck. What a genius marketing idea to go restrictor plate racing and go, hey, you put my little my gift thingy down there and let it flash so people can see it. Good marketing, and I hate to be the people with one faster pair left or none, because it's going to make this race in the back a little bit more important than what the front's doing, because if you get caught up back there, well, your race is over and you never had a chance at it.
These drivers don't want to be wondering what if, and I like the DJ Khaled reference. I figure you probably know that yesterday was his 46th birthday.
Another one.
He turned another year, actually. So I guess happy birthday to DJ Khaled. A little bit late, but nonetheless, we're ready to light the candles here at the front of the field. James Morgan leading the field back to green. It's an easy switch to the bottom. Big space maneuver there by Drew Blaze. And now Morgan playing a little bit of catch up here between the inside-outside lane. They come for turn one. James Morgan, the 43, out in front convincingly for now.
Ooh, 30 was below that yellow line. Man, that almost got big, and it almost got big real quick. That would have been monstrous to the entirety of this field, because he's got a lot of people behind him. You see the 44 right there of Stanley giving the push, and you see the back end of the 07 Swayton. Every time that 44 gets right up there, it's starting to take the air off of him. You see the 30 sidetracked, and you see him pulling back. All the air that's created around this racetrack, it might be the vortex theory, like old DW said, but it makes these trucks unbearable to drive because they don't know what to do and they don't have the side force to handle them. Another one, as we keep quoting DJ Khaled, is on the board. They're still 2x2, and now the field has separated one pack and then two packs.
That second pack trying to hold strong here to make sure they can keep themselves within the frontal group before that outside lane. 07, Daniel Sweat now the newest patron up at the front, leading that charge. A couple of drivers have moved up there to help, but that inside lane, much like we've seen all night long, Terry, has been the predominant one where they're going to kick Daniel Sweat to the curb, because now here comes Brandon Pearl outside, 3 wide here, the 61 machine, the 00, that purple Toyota Tundra up at the top. He's got Bradley Wilson, I believe, to help. Wilson going to get a bit into the wall. He's going to fall short, and now here comes, out of all people, Terry, Jeff McConey, middle 3 wide.
Oh, McConey. Man, hey, what did he tell us a while ago? He said, hey, I'm going to lead this race. He said he was going to stay out for some giggles. Look at him with the little smile on his face. Man, he's happy. Looks like the little the smile on the face from that Ratatouille movie. That's a good movie, by the way. He's getting to the front. He's on the outside. Second truck in. He's given a big shot. And here comes Pearl, not to be confused with Mr. Krabs' daughter. Here he comes to the third car on the top lane. 07's getting a big run here.
The 07, who got shot through the middle, is now going to have some help here. McConey's going to join. There's Brandon Pearl. 61 also going to follow soon. That Toyota Tundra. And now they're back 2x2, couple of rows deep. Not as much strength here, Terry, from the outside line as he brought on board here with Michael Peters, the so far largest mover here tonight after starting 27th. He moved his way into the top 10 briefly. Now he's back to 12th, so still plus 15 on the night for that driver there. A big maneuver, but that outside lane kind of sparse a little bit. Is James Morgan going to casually join the group up top to try and fight for the race lead? But up top, you see sort of a sparsity, but they're still able to make strength in small numbers work. And now they've got momentum. James Morgan to the race lead back to turn 3.
You're going to have to tell me what sparsity means after this race. That 43 is a man on a mission. He wants to lead every single lap. He was sitting behind the 07, swung it back up to the top. I don't think he likes pushing trucks. I think that's the biggest key. You hear a lot of drivers talk about being the pusher, not the pushy. And I know that sounds weird, but when a truck is so unstable, when you're on the back bumper of another truck, you start to lose the nose just a tad bit. You get up on the back bumper, the tailgate, and you start to push. The front end wants to lose all of its downforce. But if you have a truck behind you, you feel like you're much faster than whatever, because he's getting all the air on his nose. It's pushing that nose down, and he's blocking every lane that he could do. Kind of reminiscent of old Michael Walker.
Trying to play the super speedway king as James Morgan again goes bottom after using the outside help from Pearl. There's Drew Blaze in the 42 machine coming back in third. That was Jeff McConey, by the way, who tried to make it outside almost 3 wide. And the 07 of Daniel Sweat thought, all right, this is too crazy. I'm out of here. So he went to the apron, decided to back out. Now he's near the middle of the field. But McConey, our in-race supporter, I think some good luck maybe from us in the booth, because ever since he's gone through the wreck while in the in-race supporter, and he's now moved up to what is the top 5 right now with help from the 11 machine. So McConey has made some moves, and also driver behind them. How about the rider for Traxxon.gg, Justin Malillo?
Well, let's pump the brakes a little bit with the commentator curse here, because it's still lingering. All right, it's a thing here in this broadcast booth, and McConey's doing a good job here. But look at Malillo, this man, promotion king. Every time you see him, he's either got a rowdy, he's got traction on him, he's got something to throw his stuff out there. No matter what camera we put on him, he knows how to plate race. Like every time we saw him in Monday Night Racing, I watched him over in a couple other leagues that are out there. He knows how to get to the front and stay there. I wouldn't be surprised to see the 03 and the 53 lock bumpers together, and those two machines take it to the front. I know they're a Chevy and a Ford, but here they come, and there's Derek Bryce, the guy who thinks he has the best beard in sim. We all know that belongs to Ryan Power. But Kenneth, did you know he eats his rice with a fork?
I think we had some of the conversation pre-race. To be honest, I don't see any wrongdoing with it. I've done it with a fork. I've done it with a spoon. I've done either. So I play both sides of the coin here. So I have my opinion. I think it's neutral. I know you're more strongly on it, but
spoon, baby. I'm all about the spoon.
Well, anyway, we continue to watch the battle up at the front. That is still Morgan up there with Brandon Pearl still pushing. It looked like Pearl almost looked for the lead for a moment. He's been kind of flirting with that high side a couple of laps, but he is really yet to make that move, just because that outside lane has really yet to find any sort of large momentum as the 03 and a couple other drivers get turned. That's one spinning to the infield, but no caution actually now. Big turnaround. That's Dustin Lawson in the 34 up and over. And just before our halfway mark of the race, we get another large stack up coming into turn 3.
Oh, man. I said, the curse strikes again. McConey's involved. And that all triggered. You see right here on the replay, here they come. 03 thought he was clear. He didn't go for a big spin, but everybody else triggers behind him. You see the 54 end over end. Here he goes. Then he saves it. Perfect landing, little gymnastic style there. Gets her back going, but side drafting, thinking you're clear, coming down, making incidental contact, and boom, flipping you go, and show the landing. Where does he stick it? Dang it.
Right through the middle. He seems to be okay for that part, and damn,
there it is.
Bam, right there. Just a big slam to the truck and absolutely nowhere for him to go. He's a passenger at this point on his side, flipping end over end. Luckily, he does land back on all fours, but I mean, that is heavy damage there to the 34 of Loxton's machine, and he may end up on pit road needing a fast repair. The wreck all started between a pole sitter, Michael Fahey, and Jeff McConey. They were working inside outside. McConey tried the side draft again. I mentioned at that point, they were trying to make that outside charge work again. They had a new patron in Garrett Wolfenbarger, but the time that they got Wolfenbarger up there, McConey made slight contact with Michael Fahey. And then at that point, by the time they got together, all was said and done for this wreck here on lap number 41. There's the slight contact. There's where they get out of shape. Wolfenbarger starts it, and then as everybody tries to check up, get out of harm's way, it ends up harming others severely. And we're going to see a lot of drivers down pit road this time, Terry, for the halfway mark of the race.
Yeah, I don't know what the calming effect's going to have to be. You know, I speak to drivers randomly throughout the week, and I asked them some unserious questions. I mean, there's not a whole lot of times that you ever hear me get to be serious. And the one song, when I was talking about songs that kept coming up, was Bonnie Tyler. It was like, turn around, every now and then I get a little bit lonely. I can't remember what that song is, but it's a good one. And in that one right there, we're going to need some calming voices, and I think Bonnie Tyler might be the one to bring us the calming effect.
Hopefully we can get some calm in the middle of the storm as the iRacing I-flag, caution flag, comes out once again. Many drivers coming down pit road, a good amount for damage dealing, a lot of them for fast repairs, some of them for potentially fuel or tires, and maybe they can get all of that all together, but many of them either playing strategy or just playing it safe to get to the end of this race clean and sturdy. Well, if you like what you're seeing so far here at the halfway mark of the Movember charity event presented by McConey Setup Shop, we've got a lot to come for you in the coming days and up in the next coming weeks. Starting tomorrow night, the SimMax Cup Series powered by MPI comes to the Music City, the Nashville Super Speedway, for the final race of their regular season. They're going to decide which 16 drivers will fight for a SimMax Cup Series powered by MPI championship. That coverage begins at 9:15 p.m. Eastern over on the twitch.tv/Podium Esports main Twitch channel. Before we go dirt racing with the trucks for Monday Night Racing presented by Rowdy Energy, we'll have the Road to Glory Series kickoff first at 7 p.m. Eastern on the main Podium Esports Twitch channel, and then we'll go live 8 p.m. Eastern for the Monday Night Racing Pro Series, where they'll take the trucks to Knoxville Raceway. We'll see who becomes the Dirt King in Monday Night Racing history. It'll all start 8 p.m. Eastern again. Podium to Twitch, Podium's YouTube, Facebook, and the Monday Night Racing Twitter account as well. And then we'll continue off of our Thanksgiving break for the eNASCAR Contender iRacing Series as they also head for the Music City Nashville Super Speedway. That'll be round 4 of their campaign to see which 20 drivers end up in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series for 2022. That'll be on Tuesday, November 30th, 9 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/Podium2, iRacing's Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook pages. And Terry, you're excited for this one. You've done a lot of amplification for this series. The S-Rock Shenandoah Shine Race of Champions presented by Shenandoah Shine. They kick off their season with the Gen 6 Cup cars, the old Gen 6 Cup cars at Daytona right here at the World Center of Racing. That'll be Wednesday, December 1st, 9:10 p.m. Eastern on the Podium Esports Twitch channel. I know, Terry, you've been looking forward to that. I mean, Gen 6 cars, the old Gen 6 Cup cars, you bring them, you rip them around a lot of the greatest tracks, and that, I think, also started off of a charity event, so I guess it comes back full circle in a way, but very excited for S-Rock presented by Shenandoah Shine to kick off on December 1st.
Dude, I am so excited for that one, and when they reached out and told the producer, we want Terry on the show, it didn't take me 20 seconds to scream, oh, heck yeah, put me on the show. Man, that's going to be light, and I got my shirts. I got a hat coming in. Well, we're going to be all pretty like Puff Daddy.
Well, certainly Michael Peters, Keaton Burnett looking the prettiest up at the front of the field. 95-48, row 1, green flag out in the air for lap 45 of 100. The Movember charity event hosted by McConey Setup Shop, and it's a quick switch. Here comes Brandon Minnick. We mentioned earlier that he's one of the drivers that has to use both of his fast repairs, but it looks like the aggression has still not gone away. Up to the front, help from the 48. He's your new race leader.
Safest place to be at Daytona or Talladega is in the front, and for Brandon, he's going to have to stay there. He's used the fast repairs. Being in that pack in the Hornet's Nest is not the place to be. You see him start to fan out 2 wide. You got 3 wide back there in the back of the pack. But it was interesting on that start. I watched the 95 back it down just a tad bit. Michael Peters, he didn't really get a good jump. because everybody else around him just drove to the high side. Second car pulled out to the outside and was able to slingshot, kind of like Talladega Nights. But every single one of these drivers now coming close to the halfway point have to be on their A game, because you're not gonna complete all the laps if you're just out here wrecking. There's Spoon, OJ Spoon, having a good time in 10th.
And he's also the biggest mover. We mentioned another driver, Michael Peters, who's up at the front. He was the biggest mover at the time. It was 24 positions, 27th to 3rd, but now Jordan Spoon takes the cake. He started back in 42nd. He was part of the heat races earlier on tonight, and he's one of the only ones up in the top 10 to be a part of the Constellation and the heat races. Jordan Spoon, by the way, the only driver, or the first driver rather, in the field up to this point that still has both faster pairs in the bag. So if anything goes awry for the driver of that 3 machine, he's going to be right in the mix of it all, as safe as possible with both faster pairs to his name. Meanwhile, they get a little bit squirrely up at the front of the field. This is just in front of Jordan Spoon, by the way, in the top 10. Now it's the driver up at the top of the field. It's Michael Peters in the 95, who was working to the inside, Terry. You mentioned he got a little bit of a sluggish restart, but now he's up to the front as a caution comes out. People wrecking again off turn 2.
That was a massive wreck. And it all started back here. It looked to me as if it kicked off there with Michael Eckhart. He started the recipient there. He went off track. Was one of the people that they were kind of juking and driving there in the back portion of this track. And looking at the replay here, you just see they come up and then they're mayhem in front of them. I mean, it is absolute pandemonium around this. Ooh, look at the air time he got. That's pretty cool.
This is maybe the 3rd, 4th time, perhaps, Terry, we've had a car go up in the air, or whether it's upside down on its side or just all 4 tires off of the ground. It started again, much like some of the other incidents tonight, with 3 wide. It was around where Brandon Pearl was, also where Logston is, and where Sammy Lackey and his machine is the 31. Ooh. They go 3 wide. They kind of pack it up a little bit. Gets into a couple drivers. I believe that's Justin Malolo, 53. Unfortunately, he gets involved. A couple drivers just get ping-ponged back to the inside of the racetrack. And I mentioned that there are a couple drivers that either still do have faster pairs left or have absolutely all of them exhausted. And they may either have to use their final one, maybe use their first, or maybe just be out of this race and hope that they can make amends down pit road. Here's a look from Justin Malillo.
It's like they were making one of the specialty Oreos. You see the 2 trucks collide, and there's the 00, or yeah, I think that's the 00. That's what it says on the truck. Everybody just goes spinning, and it's a product of everybody wanting to fight for position. They come together, didn't know he was there, and well, that made a pretty spectacular wreck. A lot of sparks in that one too. Look at them, about to come together, and then boom, everybody's about to get hit.
Here's a look from Burgess, the 25 machine. And again, when you're at a super speedway, something happens. You got to hop on the brakes quick, but it's hard to predict where these trucks go. And that was an absolute roadblock there on the 31 degrees of banking. So Burgess just had absolutely nowhere to go. The driver of the 25 machine, he ends up near the outside wall. Fortunately for him, I don't think he gets that too bad of damage. So he can most likely be able to keep going without having to repair too much on the pits. But I mean, still a large front end impact there. You see it, that Ford F-150 kind of battered in that front end, and the fascia not looking too clean here on that 49 of 100. Well, while we're crossing over the halfway mark of tonight's race, well, it's our time to bring you the iRacing Midway Race Break, which is, of course, brought to you by iRacing, the world's premier online racing game. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat to experience today's newest form of competitive motorsport with virtual racing, all from your home PC. Race virtually in Australian supercars, IndyCar, IMSA, NASCAR, the World of Outlaws, and more. And if you want to end up in the biggest iRacing sale of the year, you can do so by going to iRacing.com/Black Friday to see your deal today. 25% off renewals for current members and 50% off brand new memberships for people that want to start their sim racing career today. You can log on to iRacing.com to find out all about it. Brandon Minnick, the 56 truck, is your current race leader. Michael Peters, who started in 27th tonight, he currently is behind the leader in second. Keenan Burnett in the 48 is back to third. Miles Morse will be in fourth. Josh L. Stoltz in the 99 will round out the top 5, followed by Drew Blaze in the 42. James Morgan, who still has his fast repairs remaining. Jordan Spoon also with his fast repairs remaining from 42nd in 8th. James Dewar back in 9th. And Terry Radford, Jeffrey McConey rounding out the top 10.
You got Chris Gomes rolling there on 11th, and then you got Carl Burke, Jeremy Stanley, Michael Eckhart, Tim Tripler, Anthony Rennick, Mark Stewart, Michael Fahey, Blair Patterson, and Garrett Wolfbank Barger is going to round out your top 20.
Then behind them to 21st on back, James Watson actually back in 21st. Then followed by Daniel Sweat, Guillaume Hesnault in the 16, Derek Rice in 24th. Rent Brown caps off the top 25 before it's Joey Masowich, Dustin Logston, Dustin Sorber, Brandon Pearl, and Garrett Wolfenbarger to the top 30.
You got Chris Ruiz, Shane Tarrany, Joshua Abbey, Ron Harrington, Jeffrey Eddy, Chris Peters, Scott Bryant, Kenny Hyatt, and Kenneth Bishop will round out this field.
That's your entire 43 truck field. Only 34 reside on the lead lap so far here from Daytona. And this concludes tonight's iRacing Midway Race Break with over 170,000 drivers on the service and over 90 laser scan tracks and cars to choose from. iRacing is your portal to the racing world. Get on track today and start your sim racing career today at iRacing.com. Know a lot of people are going to be using that Black Friday deal all through December 4th. We've had a huge surge in iRacing memberships, of course, ever since last year, and I think we're probably part of it as well, and having a lot of fun up here in the broadcast booth. Again, Kenneth Bueno, Terry Radford, up here at the World Center of Racing with Ryan Bauer producing us all night long in the trailer with cameras provided by Dougie Beard. It's been a lot of fun so far to bring you the coverage of the Movember charity event hosted by McConey Setup Shop, and we are ready to get back to green flag racing at lap 51 of 100, the exact halfway marker of tonight's race. The pace car will come down, and it's a slow start. I think we're going to go one extra lap here. The pace car did go down pit road, but I think they tried to get everybody back in, so the pace car is going to come back out. We'll go one more lap before we go green here, sir. I guess we can catch our breaths after what's been a crazy race so far, to say the least.
Man, I was about to get excited there, man. We're about to flip them back on. 51 laps on the board. A lot of impatientness has come out here, but we talked about iRacing in the Black Friday sale. I renewed mine, right? And I don't remember what I paid on the initial start, but when I renewed it, man, it was super cheap, 25% off. Who can beat that deal? And then I jumped into a race with somebody, and they said, "Hey, aren't you that dude from Podium?" I'm like, "Sure. Yeah, that's me." And I waved at them and had a conversation. They was like, "Man, we've been watching Podium for a time." And that made me feel real good that what we're sitting out here doing, people are watching, they hear us talk about the iRacing promotions and got going on. Check it out. We're up here in the booth. Little Rolex behind us. You got the Chevy dealership right up yonder.
Yep.
It's a lot of good stuff out here, man.
You know what? As a Camaro fan myself for many years, I think I love to see Chevy up there. I mean, I see a Camaro RS on the outside. There's a banner on the Daytona grandstands on the other side. If you go to the Daytona, I forget what it's called, but it was the new renovation of the whole grandstand experience. They have a picture of a blue Chevy Camaro RS, Daytona Rising. That's what it is. That's what I remember. Thank you, Ryan Bauer, producer. But the photo there at the top, I mean, that's a beautiful car. I'm a big Chevy fan, so I mean, why not? But nonetheless, a lot of fun here from Daytona, where Terry Radford and I have been having a blast up at the front. We've been at the front. We've been getting amped for this event all night long, and of course, this is all for charity, so all for a great cause here tonight from the World Center of Racing. Well, we got the whole caution ordeal sorted out. We're back to green flag racing. It's Brandon Minnick again. Like we said at the halfway break, he is still your race leader ahead of Keaton Burnett and Michael Peters, your current top 3. Burnett, not so good of a start, but he immediately wanted to get back to the leader, and I guess Michael Peters a little impatient here, trying to say, hey, let's go to the outside lane, but nobody wants to join him off of turn 2 for now.
one Ford, one Toyota, rest Chevys locking out the top 10 right now as we run. And the leader happens to be a Ford. Next Fords you're going to find all the way down there in 11th, Jeremy Stanley. The only Toyota so far in this top 10. Fourth, Drew Blaze. He's up 27 since we've started this race. And with 49 to go, it's putting yourself in a position to win. You don't want to be sitting in 27th, 28th, about 2 seconds off the field and off the lead like James Watson is right now. Restack them, get up front, have a lot of fun, but also be patient. 48 on here. Mimic has to lead this race. He can't get in the midst of all this air as they go 3 wide, and I talk about patience. Man, my heartbeat's going.
It's Josh Stoltz who tried to make it outside 3, but just got shuffled out of the sucker hole. So he's going to try and join the back end of the cars on this middle lane, where Jeff McConey trying to help the charge back to the race lead. McConey was involved in one of the recent incidents, so he got some damage on his Chevrolet Silverado. But now Michael Peters going to shuffle out, so that will give McConey second preference here on that outside lane, just behind the 3 of Jordan Spoon. And the 2 identical trucks going to work here together, the 2 Movember charity trucks. There's the both of them right there in their sim rigs. You can see how Spoon is trying to sawing the wheel, trying to make sure he's okay, while McConey is being a little bit more calmer here on the VR setup. There was a bit of a shuffle near the rear of the field. Not sure whether that will cause a yellow, but for McConey and Spoon, they're definitely in the catbird seat here with 47 to go. Terry, you talked about patience, making your way up to the front, planning your way to the win. These 2 drivers have finally found themselves together, the 2 friends on the track, and they're charging to the front.
Man, that face that Jordan Spoon just made looked like an oopsie daisy, like he was about to go number 2. Look at him. He there for a second. He was like, "Oh, don't push me that hard," and then he was like, "Oh, you know what? You're pushing me to the lead. Who cares?" This is the point of the race, that you want to control the race. If you have teammates on this track right now, you want to control, like what McConey and Spoon are doing. You see them 3 wide, no help to the outside, but you have the 2 right there. If they can control the middle and the bottom lane, the middle can side draft, the bottom can sit there, and as he lets Jeffrey McConey take the lead, I hear a lot of ropers, the fans are going wild. McConey takes the lead. Oh my gosh, here we go. Can he win his own race?
We'll see if he can. There's still a long way to go. Now the outside line building momentum, and some of the same faces that we've seen up at the front all night long. Drew Blaze being an early favorite, James Morgan being a heavy hitter up at the front to control the pack, and now they're trying to make something work. But the driver that we haven't seen all night long, the driver in that 44, Chris Goins in his machine, he has yet to find his way near the front as the caution flag waves. A couple of drivers involved near the rear, and I believe Michael Eckhart might be the one, a victim here at the exit of turn 4, running very slowly off the banking there as he got very loose, either out of trying to get away from the wreck or maybe just a part of it. He goes sideways, and indeed he is the cause of the yellow. He went around in the middle of 3 and 4.
We've seen him off track a ton. It's like he's trying to go rally car racing. Look at him. He loses it, spins it, goes off the track, saves it. A good save. Normally here at Daytona, when you go on the banking like that, it's hard to get it to slow down because it wants to slide up when you're riding the gas. Me, I just let her send. I mean, when I get sideways, I just hold the pedal to the metal and hope that nothing hits me or I don't hit nothing. Thank God. See, aren't they happy that I'm not in this race, that I'm here in the comfort of the booth behind a microphone? Because I hit him reckless, son.
So we had that caution there, and it looked like the 15 of Eckhart, I think. We don't talk about it often here from Daytona, but when you get that transition in from the apron, whether it's on the trial or in the corner, that truck really gets unsettled. Any car really gets unsettled, and for Eckhart there, went for a slight spin. He's okay, no damage. He'll be able to continue apart from maybe some flat spot tires. Maybe have to go down pit road to get some Goodyear Eagles, but back in the booth we are. Terry and Kenneth Bueno back in it. We're still having fun here at the halfway mark of tonight's race, and I want to talk a little bit more about sort of the planning to the end. And I think we've mentioned it across numerous different broadcasts, the fact that you kind of get your blueprint out as a driver around this part of the race and say, hey, this is what I want to do, this is who I want to work with, this is where I aim to be. If I don't get there, then there's people who have plan Bs, plan Cs, but there's people who just go for the plan A, and then if all else fails, they just do whatever they can. Doesn't matter what it is. So how important is that here, Terry, for the end of this race, for a charity event where bragging rights are probably at the utmost importance?
Plan A's out the window. We skipped Plan A 3 laps into this event. All right, we went right into 1. Plan A went off the table. Stay impatient and have it, whatever, that's gone. All right, plan B, missed the carnage in the first half of the race. That's out the window. A lot of people didn't miss the carnage. We've got like roughly 10 or 15 that maybe have one fast repair left in this field. Plan C, lead the damn thing. And Mimic was doing it. He had the run up front. Spoon and McConey got around him. Blaze moved up. Morgan moved up. Moves Brandon back to 5th. All right, so for Brandon, he's out of fast repairs. His plan C is push the mess out of somebody, get him out of the way, take this lead and win it, because he has no other option. If he wrecks one time, back of the pack he goes, and he's not going to have any options to work there.
I think that's the gamble here if you're Brandon Minnick, for sure. Just push, try to get to the front like he was a little bit earlier on tonight before getting shuffled out from Jeff McConey and a handful of others, and just stay clean up front. I think that's the biggest point of the race, to try and get all the way to the end. And if cautions happen, most likely it's going to happen behind you in the rearview mirror and not in front of you on the front windshield. So Minnick is going to be looking to recover his charge to the front. Wow. McConey setup shop zone. Jeff McConey currently leads this race, and he's looking to get all the way to the end of this event with now coming to 43 laps remaining, and the lights are out on the iRacing official pace car, so we will indeed go back to green flag racing. Well, if your brand or business is interested in partnering with ourselves here at Podium Esports, well, we have space available for you. Podium Esports has a plan for every budget and can custom tailor solutions to suit your business's or brand's needs best. For more information on the wide variety of partnership possibilities, send an email to admin@podiumesports.com. Always looking to expand here at Podium Esports, and of course have a lot of fun while doing it as well. We're ready to double them up and get back to green flag super speedway racing. It'll be Jeffrey McConey up at the front. It's Drew Blaze on the outside of that first row. Jordan Spoon is going to be working here with that 03 machine, the two similar looking trucks on row 1, row 2. It'll be James Morgan in the 43 to the outside of the number 3 in row 2. Chris Goins makes himself into the top 5 for the first time all night long. Brandon Minnick will be in 6th, like we mentioned. Bradley Wilson in the 51, who made his way from the heat race, will be back in 8th. Miles Morse will be in 9th. Brandon Pearl currently rounding out the drivers in the top 10. Actually, back to 7th will be Keaton Burnett in the 48, so he's going to put himself into the top 10 as well. Just before we go green, and Terry, looking at these two in Spoon and McConey, you figure they're probably making a plan here to work together, give each other the bumper here on the inside lane, and get going. Coming to 40 laps to go.
For McConey right here, him leading this race, what I would say if I was McConey, back up just a tad bit, get to the front bumper of Spoon, and hope that Spoon takes off. He doesn't need the third car in line to take advantage here as the pace car, the official iRacing pace car, pulls off to pit lane. Watch what McConey does here. He's going to time it perfectly with Spoon, and they are off to the races. The Kentucky Derby, I mean, the Daytona race is underway.
The duo of trucks back to the front. They're going to cut Drew Blaze out the third car. He's going to move his way to the double yellow line, so that gives a little bit of leeway here to that bright yellow truck of Brandon Minnick. He'll move himself into 4th. James Morgan, unfortunately, the only truck up top, but not anymore. There comes Minnick. There comes Blaze. 3 trucks up in the top lane trying to make something happen out of turn 2.
Yeah, they try to make it happen. You see Mimic, like I said, he has to go. You have to be the pusher in this event, or you have to be the one taking the push. You can't sit around and fall to the back. If he makes the wrong move, if he goes to the middle, he goes to the outside, and he falls to the back of this pack, it could spell trouble for that 5. So he's going to have to team up with somebody. He's got the McConey setup shop on the back bumper of that Ford F-150. Maybe his boy Jeff up there leading this race. Give him a little bit of help. Push him down there to the bottom. Get those 3 teamed up together. And, man, with 41 to go, we have yet to see the wildness.
And you'd think that much of the racing we've seen here tonight would be for the white flag and for the checkered flag, but no, it started since lap 1. So that's just to show how intense the racing has been here tonight from Daytona. Stoltz got a little bit wheezy up in the middle part of the field. He got a bit of contact there with Stewart, and they almost collected each other into a caution. Now Minnick gets shoved in the middle 3 wide. That was James Morgan who works and McConey gets turned. Minnick into the outside wall, and they're wrecking up to the safer barrier out of turn 4. Caution flag waves, and I guess we've been talking about plans all night long. McConey and the rest of them may have to work for plan D, plan E, plan F, whatever.
Well, I don't know the rest of the alphabet, but I tell you what, my heart about sunk down to my chest because I was sitting here going, when I saw the 5 make that move to go in front of the 03 of Jeff McConey, I said, wrong move, muchacho. And that was the wrong move. He made it. He couldn't make it stick, made slight contact, but look at the save. The 03 carnage in the back. And that is the end of the race for Brandon Mimick because he is tore up from the floor up. And luckily for a lot of the field, they were able to stay out of it. Here with the 91, you see the trouble ensue. Blair Patterson, good broadcaster on his own. I watched some of his stuff. He goes around. Look, you see them all spinning. The 19's around. Oh, just a baby bump on the front.
And again, I mentioned it earlier in a previous wreck here tonight where it's just so tough to really predict where driver's going to go. That was Michael Fahey, the pole sitter tonight that was around in trouble. Unfortunately for Patterson, he gets the worst end of it. And how about the best end of it here for Eckhart, who was the cause of the recent yellow in turn 3 and 4. He's able to get around all of it, completely clean in his Chevrolet Silverado. So as for him, he got sort of the redeeming method here. They go spinning. He goes for the second place. He went around in 3 and 4, finds the space, and it doesn't get much better than that, Terry Radford. Finding the movement, finding the maneuver to get around all the chaos, and Eckhart able to play it perfectly to not get any damage.
Oh my goodness, look at the move he made on the bottom. Look at him, sideways. He's dirt tracking it down there. Then he just goes, let me slip on by right here, and barely got through there. That's like one of those little commercials you see on TV at about 2 a.m. You wake up and you're like, hi there, Eckhart here, showing you how to save a race truck. Boom, here it is, and just slaps the price tag on it. That, if he wins this race, move of the race.
Unbelievable from Eckhart there. Michael Eckhart in the 8 machine. He is joining a host of trucks to come down pit road. It was pretty much 4th on back, actually 5th on back rather. Garrett Wolfenbarger is going to stay out here on this yellow flag here presented by iRacing iFlag, and Drew Glaze is going to be the first truck out of pit road to get fuel, get some tires as well. So him and the rest of the field behind are going to be lurking for probably a big charge here through the end of this race. And for Jordan Spoon up at the front, I figured, Terry, that it probably wasn't going to be the best method of action to get into Jeffrey McConey. I know it probably wasn't on purpose, of course. It was just able to try and give him the push. But we'll talk here for Jordan Spoon. I know we talked to Jeff McConey. He was in the middle of a pack. I guess you have a bit to relax here because you're in the middle of the caution flag. But walk us through how the perspective has been for you and your truck so far.
It's been crazy. This race has been wild. Yeah, that contact right there with Jeff, we were just getting pinched, and I don't know if I got net coated a little bit because I felt my truck shift, and that was when I kind of hooked Jeff. And he made it through okay enough that he said he doesn't think he needs to use his fast repair, so we're going to see. But it's been an intense race, just trying to survive. I mean, I barely got in and just trying to hang on now.
Well, intensity has been paired with fast repairs here tonight, and for you, you're one of the few, along with I believe James Morgan, to have both fast repairs still intact. So let's say you get into something, you're still able to clean the truck up. Does that give you a lot more insurance here in the final closing stages of this race with 38 to go? Does that make you feel a little bit more at solace knowing you've got both of them?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it gives me a lot of confidence to know that I've got 2 chances at it. I know I've got to pit one more time. I'm watching my fuel window. I know I can't make it, so I've got to pit at least once, and to have 2 fast repairs in the bank with about 35 laps to go when we go green, that's going to be huge, I think.
Mr. Spoon, I have a question for you. It's Terry Radford from the podium booth. What's up, man?
What's going on, Terry?
Well, I'm just curious here because you wrecked your teammate. All right, is that bad blood?
Jeff's not even mad at me. Jeff's not even mad at me.
Hold up, I'm going to throw some fuel to this fire here. Is it Taylor Swift bad blood? Do you got a little beef between like Tupac and Biggie going on there? Why did you wreck?
Look. In honor of Taylor's new album coming out, we'll just go with this T Swift bad blood.
Man, I do love me that T Swift one. Your truck looks good. You look good. All the helmets look good. Can you put the Caterpillar helmet on next time we come talk to you?
I can try. It's got a bar in the middle. You're not supposed to wear it.
All right, I think we should take that out and put it on. Best of luck, my friend, my soup, Mr. Soup it is. Talk to you later.
Appreciate it, Terry.
Well, Jordan Spoon, glad to have him in the booth. He's going to be the leader here by the time we get to green. And even more interesting here, Terry, he's got limited fuel left. So Maybe if we get a caution, that could help him in this case, but nonetheless, he's going to go back up the revs, back up to high gear, and he is still at the front of this field, leading us back to lap 64 of 100. But this time, Brandon Pearl, who aimed potentially at the inside lane, now wants to take it solo up top.
Yeah, that outside lane has not been getting any runs whatsoever. And you got Gilliam Hazelnut right here, the Frenchman, giving a big shove right there to Spoon, and you see the pack starting to gain back traction up to the front. 15 makes a good move down to the bottom. Michael, who missed the wreck, was able to get back up here to this lead pack, and you see him 5th car in line on the bottom. Topside starting to make some headway, but on restarts for some reason, it's just not wanting to get any grip to go and launch.
Well, that outside line certainly trying to launch. Luckily for Brandon Pearl, he's got help now from Drew Blaze and company. That's Chris Goins. That's a bunch of other drivers near the top lane. I believe Greg McConey, who was a driver in the heat races earlier tonight, that 12 Ford F-150 up at the top, just behind Chris Goins in his 44 machine. He's up at the front of the field, so I guess it's not Jeff McConey, but it's Greg McConey up at the front trying to make something happen. So for Pearl, he gets the lucky end of the stick. He's on the top, and he is still side by side with the lead, but now Drew Blaze almost looked for the top. He's going to tuck back in, and it is still even between the 2 leaders back to turn 3.
Starting to get squirrely down the back straightaway. I was watching the 30 get into the back bumper of the 2nd place driver, Pearl. Every time he would give a shove to him, I don't know if Pearl just isn't comfortable with getting shoved or what's going on there, but the 2 Tundras, the front valence of them, I wish we could get a closer shot here. You see the close-up shot we hear on the front valence of them. You see them how they don't want to line up all the way through, how it kind of bows out. You have a bow that comes in the middle and it pushes it. Well, that little bubble of air that's going to get created right between where the Toyota logo is and the back bumper as the caution comes out, but that's going to create the biggest shove down the back straightaway, and that's what gets people in trouble in the corners too, because that small little bubble of air is going to create a big burst, and it's just going to shoot it out and push them all the way to the front.
Well, the caution comes out once again. It was between the 31 of Sammy Lackey and Rennick in the 21 that gets collected here in the middle of the corner. I heard over the radio said wrecking, and that's exactly what was happening to bring out yet again another yellow flag with 35 laps to go. You watch about 3 wide, but it actually starts right about there. The tap from Rennick, not too potentially slight there for Lackey. Doesn't really handle that well. The car and the truck really gets unstable from that push. And all of a sudden comes back up the wall, gets it to Rennick there in that 21, Anthony Rennick, and then they both go spinning back down to the apron and that double yellow line. You'll see it once more. There's the push from Rennick, bam, right to the 31. Truck gets really unsettled, and then out of somewhere there, they end up spinning back down. Here's a look from Jeff McConey, who, by the way, we mentioned Greg McConey, his brother, up at the front, just right there in that Ford F-150. Well, McConey, after getting spun from the lead with his teammate Jordan Spoon, or at least his de facto teammate here in this race, Terry, they ended up in an incident. Jeff McConey is somehow back to the top 10.
Well, and that's the awesome part about restrictor plate racing is you can go from 43rd. You could literally, I mean, look at the front, right? Let's look at the top 5 in general. Plus 41, plus 23, plus 19, 27, plus 12. And that's not even, like, the second biggest mover of the race is Greg McConey, plus 32. You know, it's easy to get up front. The hardest part about restrictor plate racing, staying there.
A lot of shuffling through the field. We'll bring Jeff McConey back in, and yeah, we talked to Jordan Spoon a couple of moments ago after that caution. We'll talk to you now that you're calmed down in yellow flag conditions, not in green flag conditions. But Jeff, I mean, saw that incident there between you and Spoon. I mean, first of all, walk us through that. What happened there?
I think Spoon got hit from behind, and it hooked me. It's whatever. I've been working with Spoon pretty much all night. So it was just racing. I somehow managed to save it. I was freaking Tokyo drifting through the corners, holding on to that thing. That was like my 3rd save of the night, 2 of which were through the grass. But oh man, I had an absolute run there. I pitted. I got all the damage repaired that I possibly could, 36 seconds worth. And then I took this McConey Setup Shop, Martin Sports, Podium Esports, Overton Speed Shop, iRacing, iFlag, Team 126, Anonymous, grateful donors for Sloan Kettering Memorial Hospital, and the Joe Six Pack Podcast. I took that truck all the way up from like 30th up to 9th. I had the run of a lifetime, and then I was yelling at my brother. I would have kept going if my brother Greg didn't come up and throw a stupid block. And Mom and Dad, if you're watching, and Greg, when you're watching this back, that was a stupid block and you know it. I would have gone all the way to the front, but it is what it is. Man, this is a lot of fun.
I smell beef.
Yeah,
you worked your way up to the front, Jeff. I mean, we talked to Jordan Spoon, and he mentioned, hey, you went up to the front, didn't think you would have to use the fast pair, and lo and behold, you're back here to the front. So, I mean, you and Spoon looked like you were working well together. Are you guys going to plan here maybe with 33 to go?
Well, yeah, and we just threw it up on the table. So with all of the extra sponsors and everything that I've got on board, the extra ones besides the normal ones in McConey Setup Shop, iRacing, iFlag, my brother's now calling me out for calling him out, Overton Speed Shop, iRacing, iFlag, Podium Esports, besides our usual sponsors there, the additional sponsors of Team 126, the anonymous grateful donors to Sloan Kettering Memorial Hospital, and the Joe Sixpack Podcast. They all agreed to put up an extra $124 if I end up winning this thing, which Jordan said he would match if he wins it. So if either of us win it, we both want one of us to win, because another $100-something will go into the prize pool, or not prize pool, the donation pool. And that's just absolutely crazy to think about.
Jeffrey McConey, I got 2 questions for you. Okay, I'll start off with the first one. It's coming from the chat. Baby CJ 2003 said, why didn't you use your fast repair quick?
Because I still have both of mine left. There's going to be more cautions, and the damage clearly isn't impacting the truck. I still feel fast. So if I was real slow that run, I couldn't work my way through the field like I did, I would come in this caution and use it. I don't see the need to do it. There's going to be more cautions. We'll be golden on fuel. Probably the next pit stop I will use my fast repair, though.
All right, good. Second one comes from Rowdy Punk, and it says, were you the big spoon or the little spoon in that incident with Jordan Spoon?
Well, I got spooned big time on that one, so you can do with that information what you will. Yeah, we're just surviving here. We're gonna restart 9th. I got Greg on my outside, and goal number 1 is raise a lot of money for charity. Goal number 2 is beat my brother. Goal number 3 is win the race. So that's the list of priorities tonight.
I smell beef, Kenneth Bueno, and it's starting to heat up.
Starting to heat up indeed, and I remember the meme from RDC World said you were the gold medal instigator. I think I saw that when you were trying to fuel the fire with Jordan Spoon. Nonetheless, we're ready to get back to green. Spoon in the race lead. As a matter of fact, he will lead us along with Brandon Pearl the first row. Back up the gears, back under green. We'll see if Jeff McConey can try and join this fight. But for now, Pearl with a bit of help from Drew Blaze. Spoon with some help from Guillaume Hesnall.
Yeah, Hesnall's there. He's able to be on the bottom. He's doing a wonderful job in that Toyota Tundra to be right on the back bumper of Jordan Spoon. The outside still didn't get a very good launch. Pearl couldn't get the traction going with the rear tires to hook up with the front, but he still got a great push back there from Drew Blaze. Those two have worked wonders together. Can they work in the last 31 laps of this event to defeat the bottom and get that high lane to the win?
We talked about plans to getting to the end of this race. Gotta reckon that a lot of these drivers may have their plans written in stone, and if they can find their friends at the front of the field now, it's gonna make a big difference for the rest of the race. You watched right there, that was Garrett Wolfenbarger. Got a little bit squirrely there coming out of turn 4, ends up near the double yellow line, but he stays cool, we stay green, and it is still Spoon and Pearl up at the front. No convincing leaders to come back to turn 1.
Nobody's trying to take it 3 wide here. You see back here with Sweat, and every time I see that name on there, I think of Keith Sweat. Gosh, I love me some Keith Sweat. You know, he sings that one, Nobody, Baby. Good song. I love it. But every time he gets up there, I start thinking about that amazing artist from back in the 90s. You see Jordan Spoon, calm as a cucumber, man. Look at him. He's sitting there on the bottom, getting a big push. And look at this off the exit. Look at the push the 16's going to get him. I talked about the bubble from the front end, aligning from the Toyota to the Chevy. And as soon as he came off the exit, as soon as the 16 swept down, boom, gave him the shot. He takes the lead, and 29 to go.
And gave him the insurance to keep himself to the front. But as they come back to the straightaway, Brandon Pearl just continuously gets that shove from the Tundra behind him, and Drew Blaze, who just continues to flirt with that third line, although he has really yet to make it work. I believe he's probably going to try and attempt to to get some friends up there and maybe split Pearl through the middle. But as you ride on board here with Greg McConey, now McConey almost about split that through the middle. Bit of contact there between him and the 30. They're going to keep it clean, but they are all over the place in the final laps. Look at Gones to the outside, 3 wide.
I'm taking it 4 wide, and man, I think every one of us took a sigh of relief right there that Greg McConey didn't turn Drew Blaze right there. That would have been bigger than a whopper. But my goodness, oh, they're in the wall. They're wrecking.
And Greg McConey into the wall as well. Multiple drivers involved. Jeff McConey among those spinning around. There's Greg halfway sideways as he Justin Malillo, his Traction GG Ford F-150 all over the place. And with 28 to go, we have another stack 'em up coming out of turn 4 into the trial. We'll take a look from Jeff McConey's perspective. A bit of swiveling, a bit of sloshing through the middle of the field. I think right there, a bit of contact. That was Chris Gones. And there was a separate incident there to get Greg McConey into the wall. But Jeff arguably gets the worst of it.
Well, McConey 1 and McConey 2 both became a McConey and G sandwich. And they just went in the wall, popped it, smacked it. You see everybody, they're moving. There's a lot of movement here. One gets loose on the bottom, goes all the way up the track, hits the 12, smacks into the field, and then it's just, I mean, there's nowhere to go. The moment the 12 on the outside started to move around, started to lose the front end, and tried to regain the back end of that car or truck, there was nowhere for the rest of the field. You're along for the ride at that moment. But what did Jeff McConey just say to us when we asked why didn't he take that fast repair? His answer was simple. Probably going to be some more cautions. Who looks smart right now? McConey has one fast repair left. 27 to go. It'll be 25 when we take the green. I don't know. Got an opportunity to see if he can rocket through this field again.
And just to clarify there with Greg McConey, his contact was from Guillaume Hesnal in the 16, so that's what sent him up in the outside wall. Both of them kind of collected together entering the trial wall. And of course, Jeff McConey, you saw right there, collected with the 44 of Chris Gones. That's what sent him up into the wall. And then everybody got together, and again, it was a solid incident. And that most likely, Terry, will of course put Jeff McConey in that situation where he has to burn the fast repair. And luckily for him, much like his teammate Jordan Spoon here tonight, they both have fast repairs available. So Jeff may be sort of a blessing here for him on pit road to give him some of that assistance. But for assistance from pit road, we've got a couple of drivers down there. Jordan Spoon mentioned to us earlier on the in-race supporter that he was a little bit short on fuel. This is going to give him the scapegoat here to get some fuel, get some tires, and be on his way. Many of the other leaders also pitting to follow.
This should put him in the window just in case we have a green-white checkered. I believe we have 2 sitting here with us this afternoon. This should put him through 1. And if we get 2 cautions, theoretically, my math isn't all there. All right, Alabama education, not a whole lot going on. If they get two caution flags, they should be able to coast just a little bit on the high banks and drift around this racetrack. Should put them safe. If we don't get those cautions, which knock on wood, we don't get them. I know that iRacing iFlags loves them because the timely logo. But it's going to be interesting to see who can save it. I know Blaze stayed out. It went all the way back here. Man, a lot of people stayed out all the way back to 10th. So Spoon was the first one off pit road, 9th on up. Man, they're on the racetrack, no fuel.
And that's also going to be a little bit of a challenge here for drivers, Terry, who did go down pit road this time by, because not only are they going to be obviously good on fuel, they're going to lose a bit of track position, but they're losing a good amount of it. It's a bit of a buffer now that separates them to the front of the field. So what that's going to do is probably make them a little more impatient to work together and to get up to the front. And maybe, just maybe, Terry, we could see third line, fourth line develop here from Daytona. We've seen that third line come in a couple of times, but it hasn't been in full effect. Why not try and use it with 25 left?
I mean, throw caution to the wind like Jeff Hardy. I mean, let's go out there and somebody's going to have to do it, right? It's not a, wait and see type game. You got 26 to go. Now 25 when they cross this line. Somebody has to go be the aggressor in this situation. And I know that's silly of me to say because we've seen a lot of aggression all night long. Somebody has to be the person who's just the most dominant. If we don't see somebody jump to that third line, I would be scared to see the fourth line happen here, especially going into the corners, because it's like I-65. You go from 4 lanes to 3 lanes to 2 lanes. And that's kind of how Daytona is. They come off the corner and you have to funnel into 3 and then hope that you don't take the whole field out when you do it. So be interesting to see the third line come in. Keep an eye on the 03. I mean, McConey's there, and I'm showing him right now in 11th. So he's coming.
He's not out of this race for good. He is still in the fight with 25 laps left in this race. Of course, drivers who did stay out include Drew Blaze. He's going to be leading us back to green when we come back to the trial. Well, Chris Ruiz in the 11, who we haven't mentioned really all night too far. He's back in P2 now. Dustin Logston in the 34 after tumbling on the back straightaway, if you can recall him flipping over and over. He's in 3rd. Mark Stewart will be in 4th. Guillaume Hesnall will be out of the top 5. And I see a lot of drivers here, Terry, that could be in potentiality to swing up to that 3rd line, get some drivers with them, and maybe make a case for the race lead. That middle lane has been strong. It definitely hasn't been lackluster in terms of drivers that are willing to go up there to work with others. So if you get that 3rd line working, there's probably going to be that pioneer, then there's going to be the followers of that leader to get to the front. And why not do it near the end of this Movember charity event hosted by McConey Setup Shop from Daytona. It'll be 24 laps remaining, 21 minutes on telemetry if we stay green. Drew Blaze, Chris Ruiz, back to the green flag.
And I'm going to be very interested. We talked about the 3rd lane opening up. Whoever takes that 3rd lane, the middle lane's going to be the aggressor. They're going to have to be, because you have the momentum from the high lane and from the low lane to get the side draft to propel you up to the front. Now, with the 11 being right there, you see Chris Ruiz. A lot of these drivers who did stay out, the back end's a little bit lighter than the ones who just came down pit road. They took full fuel. The ones up front do not have that, so watch out for the bumping, because the moment you push them, the back end's a little bit more squirrelier than the ones with a little bit more downforce on the rear. And as I talked about it, here comes the 13 and the 03. Well, Spoon and McConey making another teammate duo to the front.
And trying to make it work all the way to the front, but it was a daring move out of Mark Stewart in the 38 to switch back underneath Chris Ruiz and look forward to the front of the field. He's got clear skies here at Daytona, but he's got help in the rearview mirror from Drew Blaze, and Blaze is going to get turned into the outside wall. That was Ruiz who got into him. James Morgan all over the place. There was one track that got completely launched off the racing surface. Brandon Pearl. There are multiple trucks involved, and that was, I think, arguably the biggest wreck so far here tonight. The stakes are big. The cautions get bigger here near the end. We'll take a look at the replay. We saw Drew Blaze get turned around first. It was Chris Ruiz who was up top, I believe, right there. Just gets near around Jordan Spoon, Terry, and around he goes, and then one truck is completely flying to the inside safer barrier.
Holy mess. I almost cussed. I'm very glad that I didn't. Very close. I saw that storm brewing. Trying to find the one that did get launched into absolute oblivion. Goodness, there were so many involved in this incident here. Oh, gosh. What a cool wreck.
And that's Joey Matsowicz, the Manwich. Who just gets slammed like bread onto a peanut butter jelly sandwich right into the infield guardrail. You'll see it one more time here. I think this is one of the oddest wrecks I've ever seen on the sim, if I've ever seen one, to be fact. Terry, take a look here. Matsowicz gets a little bit of a hit there from the car behind. And then as he's going sideways, he goes for the GPS left route into the infield.
Oh, my goodness. That's a sloppy Joe right there. The punchline on his name. Holy mother of pearl. That was cool. That was really, really cool. And somebody in the chat, man, iRacing iFlags out there. Yeah, little, I believe I can fly. And he just went, man. He took it. He was soaring like an eagle into the future and into the crowd.
I figure if you're a virtual fan at Daytona at that part of the track, it would not be pleasant to see a Ford F-150 truck going at you at over 100 miles per hour. But for the Manwich here, he gets caught up in it. There's another look at what happened at the front between Drew Blaze and Chris Ruiz. They got caught up, and there's another look at the Manwich just going straight for the inside wall. That is a gruesome wreck, and fortunately for him, he does have a fast repair. The problem is that wreck completely killed the engine. He was not able to tow it back to pit road, so he's on the clock here, trying to make sure he can get that fast repair and get back going. The Manwich not looking good here with 21 laps to go. So Terry, that was a lot to unpack. I mean, we've unpacked a lot of incidents tonight, but that was probably the weirdest one, just because of the way he got launched to the infield. But nonetheless, again, attrition just starting to play a really big factor into how this finish goes.
Yeah, I mean that's mainly what these plate tracks are, is keep both hands on the wheel and just stay focused. I know we're having a lot of fun here, and I do enjoy the fact that, you know, the chat's lighting up. We're having a lot of fun out there. Everybody's staying loose. It's just a ton of fun for a great cause. All right, 21 to go. Gonna be 19 when they take this green flag. I wouldn't be surprised if we see another person go into the catch fence, go down into the safer barrier. A lot of incidents are going to start happening here because of the intensity level. It's well over the Richter scales. It's going to sound like Jordan Hare when Bama and them was playing the Iron Bowl today.
It's the wildest part is that we get to sit around and watch this happen over the course of the next 20 laps, and we're gonna get a winner out of this, whether it's green, white, checkered, whether it's not. We're gonna see who wins tonight. Saturday for the Boys, benefiting Movember charity event hosted by Makoni Setup Shop. And again, if you want to support the cause of the Movember Foundation, again, use !MO down in the Twitch chat. You can donate as many as you'd like to the proceeds for the Movember charity and the Movember Foundation. It's a great cause here tonight, hosted by Makoni Setup Shop. So a lot of it, I know it's been wild here from Daytona, but it's a great cause at hand. These drivers are racing for a reason. That's for that Movember Foundation for men's mental health and men's cancers as well, to support them in Men's Health Awareness Month. Terry, you've got the rowdy there. You've got the drinks. You've had it since the start of the race, I can remember. I'm not sure if I've got it right. Number three. Wow, that's a lot. But I mean, if those are rowdies, I mean, you're probably maybe sort of doing the voodoo here for the rowdiness at the front. I don't know. I'm probably making a connection I can't make. But nonetheless, 20 to go. It's go time.
Go time was forever ago. Go time was from lap 1 with these boys. It's outer space time. Like we're gonna see the Space Jam in real time right here this afternoon. It's doing it for Dale, baby. 3 in the sky for the man up high. He ain't dead. He's just a lap ahead. Somebody's going home with the Movember charity race trophy. Somebody's going home with bragging rights at the end of this. And hell, I'd say it'd be a damaged car by the end of it.
Yeah, I don't think you have a good point there. I don't think there are many trucks out here that are completely clean, completely scathe-free. It's been a lot of semi-damaged trucks, heavily damaged trucks, whatever you have. These trucks have been through a lot tonight at Daytona, and we're ready to go back green with just only 19 laps remaining. It's Mark Stewart, Justin Logston, the 34, up at the top of row 1. Pace car is down. And in the final 20 laps of this Movember charity event, hosted by Makoni Setup Shop, Mark Stewart, help here from Jeff Makoni to the front of the field.
Yeah, imagine being Mark Stewart right now and having Makoni right behind you. He used his fast repair. He's got a beautiful truck. He's going to jump to the outside. Abe's going to try to block it just a little bit. He's going to go up there, try to get a little bit of the side draft. You see him. He's nodding his head. He's like, yep. Let me check my mirror. Let me do all the things I got to do. And this is where mirror driving comes into effect, because everybody's going to have to look 4 cars behind them. And if they have a spotter, they're going to have to look 8 cars behind them. They're going to have to know where the run's coming. How are you going to make it stick? And you see the bottom lane failing again. Here comes the 32 of Garrett. He's going to push the back bumper right here with Spoon. He's sitting in 5th. I don't know how he's so calm, cool, and collected with 18 to go, because now all hell is going to break loose at Daytona as Makoni leads that lap.
McConey able to spread himself out front. I heard Jordan Spoon over the radio talk about driver just behind him, giving him the push in the corner. It said not to do that. And so it is go time when you have drivers pushing all over the place on the racetrack. Normally you'd see them push on the straightaways, but if they're pushing in the corners, they're really telling you to go. And now Spoon is going to work up high, trying to form himself alongside teammate Jeff McConey. They're going to have Dustin Logston to split that middle, but they're going to have the help up top. Jeff McConey clearing for the race lead back to turn 3.
Yeah, my question was going to be, was the 54 and the 03 going to take the bottom? And yes, they did. 15's going around back in the back of the pack. He's been off track a lot this afternoon. Ooh, Kyle Busch save right there. Good save that he made. And here comes Spoon. He's going to work to the outside, take advantage of the checkup on the 3 wide up on the high side here. Who's going to give? You know, there's no more. There's no more of this Mr. Nice Guy. Everybody's going to play for position. Everybody's going to go for it. You see Sammy there. Spoon and them are going to fall back just a tad bit and hope they get some more checking up down there on the bottom to make this work.
Had a bit of help there, that 31 of Lackey did from Josh Stoltz, but Stoltz in that 99, the yellow Chevrolet Silverado back there outside of your screen, he now works himself to the inside of the 31, and that outside lane just completely falters here with 17 laps to go. And with that slight incident from the 15 there, Terry, like you mentioned, look at the distance between this first pack of trucks and this second pack of trucks, which is only about 2 or 3 trucks strong. So it is really thin the field out. The attrition really starting to come through these drivers. And as Jeff McConey currently leads the race, Mark Stewart trying to find a way around him somehow with 15 laps remaining.
And if they're listening to us on this broadcast, I'm telling them right now, stay in line. Pull away from this field. Wait till about 5 to go. Hope there's not a caution. Hope that we don't see the yellow flag come out as the 8 is pushing dear life to get to the front. He wants to lead this race, but if they stay in a line right here, don't go side by side. Don't get too aggressive with your bump drafting and just stay there. You can pull away even further, and then you make the race instead of a 20-car field, you're going to make it a 5, 6, 7, 8 car field, and you have a better opportunity to win. I'm not a betting man, but those odds at Vegas tell me that stay in line here, and you're gonna find yourself in a great position to win.
Some drivers don't want to stay on that inside lane. There are 2 trucks up there trying to make something work, maybe get some other trucks to join them. All 8 of these trucks, as a matter of fact, in this first group, all spread in, wrapped around a blanket over 1 second between each other. So that's how close all these drivers are in the final 15 laps. There comes a driver up to the top. That's, I believe, either Tim Tripler. That is Tim Tripler there. Some help here from the rear from Garrett, actually the 17 machine rather. He's going to try and give him some help. So they're still trying to maybe find some of that hope. But at the same time, that bottom lane just has too many drivers to fare against. And for now, Jeff McConey will come across the start-finish line here from Daytona to take 14 laps to go.
Yeah, I mean, you got Mark Stewart right there. He's shown us a little bit of aggression, kind of showing his hand just a little bit too early. He's not listening to Kenny Rogers, that no one... Caution comes out, and this is not what this crowd wanted to see because, man, this is about to be just absolutely crazy. As you see the 52 right here, Rance Brown, he went around. This, I don't even know how to put my head around this one, but these drivers are about to go absolutely crazy. You see the 48 getting around there. 62 tried to save it, couldn't get it. Ooh, oh my heavens. What a hit.
Huge hit indeed. That's the 9 machine. That is Dustin Sorber who gets involved. Rance Brown was the one over the radio, not happy with this incident. That's the 48, by the way, the diehard Chevrolet Silverado of, or I don't know if it's a Chevrolet Silverado, but it is a diehard machine. That is the 48 of Keaton Burnett, who got into that, tried to split it 3 wide. I believe that was Michael Fahey in the 19. Actually up there, that was one of the trucks there. You see the 48 try to split it through the middle. Indeed, it was a Chevrolet Silverado, so I did get it correct, but trying to make it middle 3, gets in between that sort of sandwich, and then around he goes. Rance Brown goes for a spin, and that's exactly what caused the unpleasantness out of Rance Brown here in the final 13 laps of this race. And like you said, Terry, it's not what anybody at the front wanted to happen because they had the whole field clear by huge margins, and now they're going to pack the field together once again.
Yeah, and you throw 10 laps to go on top of that. I mean, I felt that my heart was racing from all the energy drinks that I've consumed in a day. But I could only imagine what the lead pack is, what they're feeling at this moment. I kind of wish we had one of those little heart rate monitors sitting on them or something just to say what the intensity level is in the back of the pack. If you're the leader at this moment, if you're McConey, he's now going to have to hope that the outside lane doesn't get the jump. Like, we haven't seen it, but he's never had Mark Andrews to his outside. He's never had the guy, or Mark Stewart, he's never had Mark Stewart to his outside. He's never had somebody with the speed that the 38's put on. Like, he's been to the back bumper. You know, he's going to have the 32 right on his back bumper. There's a lot of these drivers that weren't aggressive at the beginning, but you tell me 10 to go at Daytona, a chance to win in a charity race, Movember's charity race. Big opportunities here.
It's a lot of opportunities, and also to take note, there are drivers here in the group that either wrecked earlier tonight or really didn't have a chance up at the front of the field to make something happen until now. So now that opens the door wide open for them. Guys like Tim Tripler, he started third tonight, matter of fact, Terry. So he started up at the front. We didn't talk too much about him. Kind of got shuffled around through all the incidents, and now he's back to fifth. So he's got an opportunity to go out and win this race. A couple other drivers also have the same deal that have been merging around the field multiple times. So if there is any sort of indication about what's going to happen here in the final 10, that these drivers are going to put it all on the line for the bragging rights here tonight from the World Center of Racing. Terry, you've given your thoughts multiple times. All I've heard is either rowdiness, chaos, wrecking, crashing. Can we find another word in the vocabulary? What do you expect here in the final 10?
I can't say it because I don't think the FCC would appreciate it. I will say that if Tim Tripler wins this race, personally, from a personal perspective, I'm going to be very excited because I'm going to get to call him. I raced with him on Xbox. I haven't got to race iRacing, but to see one of my buddies that went way back come out here and win this race and put his name on the map, huge. It's absolutely huge. There's the word for you. This is going to be huge. 10 to go. Who cares anymore? Checkers or wreckers, baby. That's all you have to know. Checkers or wreckers.
You know, I guess we got to take a page out of Malik Ray's notebook when he goes super speedway racing. It's either the checkered flag or the outside fence. That's usually his kind of motto when he goes, and that's what makes him so good at super speedways, is that sort of mentality that I'm going to be aggressive no matter what, and if I wreck, oh well, but if I make it work, I'm going to win the race. And these drivers are looking for that exact motive here to take a page out of Malik Ray with 10 laps to go and try and win this Saturday for the Boys Movember charity event hosted by McConey Setup Shop. Speaking of McConey Setup Shop, the owner of that company, Jeff McConey, is at the front of the field. He's led a good amount of laps here in tonight's race. He will be commanding us back to green. It'll be Mark Stewart, who made a daring move not too long ago to the inside. He'll be on the outside of this first row. Dustin Loxton in the 34. He'll be capping off the top three. Garrett Wolfenbarger returns to P4. Tim Tripler will be in the top 5. Again, started third tonight, so he's got a shot to win. P6 will belong to Jordan Spoon. Josh Stoltz will be back in 7th. Chris Ruiz, Sammy Lackey, and Derek Rice in the 20 machine rounds out your current top 10 here tonight from Daytona. So all of these drivers have a possibility to win. I've seen multiple times where even drivers from 29th made it all the way to the front amidst a last lap crash and get all the way to victory lane. But with so many factors up in the air, with so many drivers potentially in contention for the win, I don't think there's a clear-cut decider as to who's going to come out victorious here from the World Center of Racing. Pace car comes out of turn 4. It'll make the sharp left back to the safety of pit lane. Jeff McConey, Mark Stewart, your first row. The two Chevrolets, the bow tie brigade, come to the trial. Green flag with 10 laps remaining.
Oh, oh man. Race control's going to have to look at that one. Mark went down before the start of they didn't cross the line. I don't know exactly what race control's going to do there on that one, but he did change lanes. You see him right here. He's about a good 150 yards from taking the green again, and he down to the bottom. And I think that's it right there. They're telling him, get below. Nope, he just did it on his own. I'm going to be very interested to see what race control does there if they're going to move him to the back. I believe that black flag right there. Black flag for the 8. And that stinks. That stinks for him because he was in a great position. But we saw it with Trevor Bayne. Trevor Bayne tried to move lanes in front of David Reagan at the July race in Daytona. He didn't get the... And now the 8's going to have to make his way back through the field as they're 3 wide in their record.
And there goes the 99. Josh Stoltz hard into the inside wall, but I don't believe he's gone back to the racing surface, so no caution flag. As for the moment, we're still green with 9 laps remaining. Here comes the 17, Tim Tripler, with help on the outside from Chris Ruiz. No look at a third line just yet, but as they're even to the back straightaway, McConey, Tripler, still side by side to turn 3.
I just texted Tim Tripler and I said, let's go, baby, go win this race. That 17's looking mighty sporty up there on the outside. You see him side draft in the 03, and that's one name. We haven't said Tim a whole lot during this race because he's been out of the action. He hasn't been a part of the mayhem. He's staying clean. He's moved and put himself in a position, and now here they are with 8 laps to go in this race, and you see him and McConey. 1 fast repair left for McConey, 1 fast repair left for Tim Tripler in the 17. You got to go for it. And which one of these guys back here in this pack can Manwich, can Mr. Sloppy Joe himself get up here and make that third line move? Looks like there's a man trying to make it now.
There's one up top, but a bit of contact there. That's Eckhart, Michael Eckhart in the 15. He's maybe getting some help here. He's going to be able to almost get the best of Derek Rice, who, by the way, we haven't talked about all night long. That Chevrolet Silverado has been quiet and stealthy through the field, but now he's got a chance up at the front to make something work in the final handful of laps in this race. There's on board with Derek Rice. I've been swerving there. The 15 of Eckhart. Eckhart's going to get pushed. Drivers checking up all over the place, and that's going to stall that outside line. Rice going to go straight for the inside, but for now, that cuts through that outside lane. Jeff McConey, you're clear race leader for now.
That is terrible for the outside lane. As you see the 17, he stalled out right there. The 15 had to pull back just a tad bit. Now it went from 6 cars on the outside to 5, and now they're moving around. You see Joey trying to get down inside draft Derek Rice, but it's not going to work. You're too far back. You're not pulling the momentum off the front end of these 2 up front. 54 had a good move. 17 is going to go to side draft now, but there's a huge gap between the 11 and the 17. Watch them as they come down the front straightaway. Going to be a big shot coming here when they cross the line.
Here comes Tripler there on board from Jeff McConey. That 17 Silverado has a look, but he's not going to make something work. And also to note, Masowich in his machine and also Joshua Abbey in his truck. They're both lap machines, but they can still make a factor at the end of the race as there goes the 34 of Loxton. Gets turned into the outside barrier from Tripler, and there are multiple trucks in it. 6 laps to go. Caution out once again.
Holy mess. That is big. I mean, you just see it. 6 to go. Side drafting, everything's going to come into play here, and you're going to get more aggressive with what you do. You see him coming down in the... Starts to drift down, starts to move. Slight contact made between the 54 and the 17, and then pandemonium behind him. There's nowhere to go. Every single one of these drivers at this moment, stay on the gas. Pull the Days of Thunder idea. You drive through the smoke. Who cares what's on the other side? And that's what these guys are starting to do now. Luckily for 2 of them, I believe 2 in this crash right here, did have a fast repair in the bank. But for majority of this field, it's time to go night-night and start singing your bedtime.
There's Masowich, middle 3 wide. Michael Eckhart in the 15. He's able to cut through the middle there, get behind Ruiz in the 11, but there's where the contact starts, and Masowich, unfortunately, gets a bit caught up in it. I think that's definitely less severe than the crash that he had earlier on tonight, but definitely some damage there for the driver that's a couple laps down as of the moment. You know, take a look at it once more from the front of the field. There's Joshua Abbey in his machine as he cuts through. Also on the 15 of Eckhart, he sees the trucks get collected, and bam, right there goes the 17, bam, the 11, bam, into a truck underneath. And there's nowhere to go but to become a passenger for the 5 truck. And he goes up into the air on 2 wheels. There's the extra hit from Loxton, and it looks like, Terry, that much like a lot of the chaos that we've seen over the course of the race so far and over the past 96 laps, is that it's mostly an attempt to side draft. That 17 gets a little bit low, maybe gets a little bit squirrely, but it's mostly trying to side draft Loxton to make sure he can keep in pace with him. But unfortunately, they get close, they get a little bit too close. That's where the contact happens, and even just a bit of touching between these trucks at over 170 miles per hour can create something large, much like it did right there.
Yeah, I mean, and as the race progresses, we talked about it early in the event where side drafting is going to come into play. Yes, you're obviously want to go out and you want to do as much as you can, but the moment you start to close down and they start to smell the checker flag, I don't know if somebody thought it was going to rain in the area, they're racing halfway, whatever, but the aggression level never really lost part of this race. Everybody's wanting to get up front and lead the laps. You see more airtime here, a ton of airtime out here. The 91 machine of Blair Batterson, he's been on a roller coaster here. He's went from the front, he's been to the back, he's to the middle. But the side drafting is obviously going to have, it's playing a big part here because everybody wants to slow somebody down. Nobody's wanting to give, everybody's just taking. And I mean, 3 to go when they take this green flag. It'd be a green, white checkered attempt number 1, if my math's correct. Throw caution to the wind. I mean, you got 15 cars still out here that are going to be able to compete for this. Everybody has a chance to win. So let's rack them and stack them, boys.
So we'll do it once more, and I believe this will push us into green-white checkered territory. It's going to get rather close, but we'll get further confirmation once they reach the start-finish line. It looks like, for the moment, it's going to be an organic green-white checkered restart. So we'll go green with about 2 laps to go. We'll just go straight for the white flag. We'll try and finish this race under green. But for the event that we do get into green-white checkered territory, we have a total of 3 attempts to get this race finished. Here's how it'll follow. We'll stack up the field, double file all the way through. We'll go green flag racing with 2 laps left in this event. They'll try to get to the white flag. If they wreck before the leader gets back to the tri-oval and to the white flag, then they'll re-rack them up and do it again and again. We have 3 chances, 3 opportunities to get this race finished. But if the leader does get to the white flag before any cautions get thrown on the speedway, that means they will race it back to the line no matter what. Doesn't matter if the leader wrecks with everybody else coming to the start-finish line. Whoever's going to cross that checkered, dotted line at the front end of the field, they're going to be the winner at the trial. Well, Jeff, we'll bring you in one more time. And you're the catbird here in the final laps of this race. What's the game plan to try and win this Movember charity event?
I'm going to hope and pray that the 44 stays with me, and I think he will. I've run a lot of races. I've run a lot of official series races. I've run a lot of, hosted events. I've run a lot of different charity events in the past. I've never been this nervous and excited. I won one race. It was a tour mod race last year, and that was a charity event, but this would be probably the biggest win of my sim racing career, honestly. I think I won 2020 Daytona 500. 2019 Daytona 500. This would blow that out of the water, so I'm excited.
All right, Jeff, we'll let you get back to it in the lead with 2 laps to go. Wishing you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Jeff McConey, who's controlled the last segment of tonight's Movember charity event, hosted by McConey Setup Shop. Ready to get this underway with Garrett Wolfenbarger to his outside in row 1. Pace car is down. McConey on the gas. 2 laps to go from Daytona. It's even as they chase back for turn 1 for potentially the final time tonight.
Oh, man, you heard the excitement in Jeff McConey's voice. He has an opportunity. He said this would be the biggest win he's ever had. And it'll be a big dent in some people's checkbooks if he takes this checkered flag. It's already going to be a big dent because he has completed every single lap thus far to get this one. He hopes the 44 stays with him. I'm sure that Martin Sports Chevrolet will. That 44 is right there, but the 8, he's back in the picture. Here we come. White flags out when they come out of 4.
When they come for 3 and 4, they'll catch 1 more lap remaining in this charity event. Mark Stewart, after the penalty, black flag for changing lines on the restart. He's back in it for 3rd, but it's Jeremy Stanley pushing the 03. Jeffrey McConey reach for the tri-oval. 1 more lap to go from Daytona.
It's imperative for the 03 of Jeffrey McConey to stay glued to the bottom side. There's no help to the outside. It's nothing to happen there for the driver who went up top. That's Blair Patterson. He has no friends right now. The low place friends are going to find the 44 on the back bumper to the 03 as they come down the back straightaway for the final time. Can McConey win it?
There hasn't been a move yet. Now here comes Stanley outside. Bit of help. Mark Stewart not going to follow. He's going to stick down with McConey for the moment. And Stewart is going to try and reach around to Blair Patterson to potentially get something happen. Out of 3 and 4 for the final time. 4 trucks down low. 2, now 3 trucks up top. They'll go side by side for the start-finish line. Here comes Stanley. Door to door as they cross the start-finish line. Who it is? It's Stanley! Stanley is the race winner from Daytona.
Oh, have you? Oh, they were dead even. They were dead stinking even. You couldn't put a piece of paper between them.
4 1/1000ths of a second between Stanley and Jeff McConey at the start-finish line. And we talked to McConey. He said he hoped that Stanley would stay with him. The 44 truck, he makes the move on the final lap of the race on the back straightaway, catches help from Blair Patterson, and the 44 of Jeremy Stanley is the Saturday for the Boys benefiting Movember charity event winner, hosted by McConey Setup Shop.
And what a shot to the back bumper of the 44. And right when the 8 and the 91 made contact right there, that propelled. Look at him. He started coming down the track. He got right on the door. You see just how close it is when they come across the line. If you're sitting right there on the start-finish line, you're not going to know who won this race. But luckily for live timing and scoring, and for our amazing producer, Ryan Bauer, got us the perfect shot of what happened right there. I mean, that's not even a pinky finger. That just, you could just put them right there and they touched at the same time.
And it looked bleak for a moment, I believe, if you were Jeremy Stanley, because he was back right there on the outside line and it looked like there was no help. It looked like he wasn't going to have any sort of assistance, but he was lucky that Blair Patterson got up there because he was able to get to the back bumper, give him the support, and no matter how many trucks were on the bottom, they could still get the run out of the 31 degrees of banking. And Jeremy Stanley, the Ford F-150, the Martin Sports truck, ends up in victory lane tonight from Daytona. This is your Martin Sports winning moment as Jeremy Stanley makes the move on the final lap and comes to victory lane. On Martin Sports, you can receive 25% off any racing glove at martinsports906.com using code PODIUM. What a job that was for Stanley. What a finish that was from Daytona. I think to cap off, Terry, what was a tumultuous night from start to finish. Lots of wrecks, lots of big moves, and Jeremy Stanley makes the biggest move, arguably overall, to take the win here tonight from the World Center of Racing. Jeremy Stanley, your winner by a mere 4/1000ths of a second over Jeff McConey. Michael Eckhart comes rebounding from a bit of mid-race struggles to end up on the podium tonight. James Watson comes home 4th. How about Justin Malillo, Traxxon.gg, a driver who was a little bit frustrated tonight being involved in some of the crashes. He comes back for a 5th place finishing position. Garrett Wolfenbarger ends up in 6th. Mark Stewart will finish in 7th. 8th will belong to the 91 of Blair Patterson. Bradley G. Wilson in the 51 from the heat race earlier tonight comes home in 9th. And Derek Rice in the 20 rounds out the top 10.
Oh, man, what a finish. And you got 11th in there, Tim Tripler, Joey Mazowicz 2 laps down, and the rest of the field's going to be, collateral damage here. You got Ron Harrington, Keaton Burnett, Brandon Mimick, Drew Blaze, Dustin Longston, Chris Ruiz, Jordan Spoon, Sammy Lackey, rounding out the top 20, negative about 2 to 6 laps.
Yeah, a lot of these drivers down a bunch of laps here. 21st will belong to Shane Tierney. Joshua Abbey comes home 8 laps down. Brandon Pearl in the 61. Early charges for him, but gets caught up in later wrecks tonight, ends up 23rd. Josh Stoltz, same deal for him. Hard into the inside wall earlier tonight. 24th will be for him. Dustin Sorber finishes out the top 25, followed by Greg McConey in the 12 and 26. 27th to the 52 of Rent Brown. The 07 of Daniel Sweck comes home in 28th. Michael Fahey, your pole sitter tonight, doesn't have a good one after the opening drop of the green flag. He ends up 29th and 30th. Rounds out the top 30 tonight. 46 of Chris Goins.
Gilliam Hazelnut down there in 31st. Miles Morris 32nd. James Morgan in 33rd. James Dewar is 34th. Jeffrey Eddy, Anthony Rennick, Carl Burke, Michael Peters, Chris Peters, and Scott Bryan 40th respectively. And to round out your field, you got Kenny Hyatt, Kenneth Bishop, and Joseph Burgess. Will be, negative 100 laps here, but what a great race.
Fantastic finish, to say the least, here from the World Center of Racing, and it'll be our time to bring up a driver who ends up in victory lane, takes the checkered flag after it all by 4 1/1000ths of a second. It's the 44 of Jeremy Stanley. Started fourth tonight, but he is your winner in the Movember charity event hosted by Makoni Setup Shop. We'll see if we can bring him up to the broadcast booth and from victory lane. And I think you can think of some of the emotions that Stanley may be feeling right now, Terry, just because of the way he won that. I mean, he's been there patiently in the back, holding out with Makoni, but on the final lap, decides to jump the gun, and then right up to the front he goes, able to get it finished, and he wins this race. We'll actually step down. We'll talk to third, Michael Eckhart here in the 15. We'll bring him up to the broadcast booth. And Michael, I know tonight was a little bit out of control. You started back in 43rd. You ended up based on the consolation races tonight, so that's how far you were able to make it in tonight's charity event. I mean, give us the perspective of not only sort of most of the race, but that final segment, that green-white checkered organic attempt where you were up in the front trying to get as much as you can.
First off, these trucks are out of control. Like that is insane. The wrecks, I'll sum it up like this. When you're running like that, tucked in, the front end shoves into the racetrack when you go into the corner. I kept almost losing it every time. I don't even know how I got back up to the front. I know you guys were talking about like crazy the one wreck when I went all the way to the inside wall in the front straightaway. I don't know, man. I'm speechless. I didn't think I'd be sitting here. I'll let y'all know a little secret. I do this on a controller, so that's crazy to be running like that. I gotta thank my friend Zach. My friend Devin was spotting me for the first half, and Zach hopped in for the rest of it. The sponsors, Murtis Racing, Burning Rubber Radio. There's one more, I don't remember. I'm not gonna worry about it. I don't know. I am speechless right now. I can't believe that happened.
I mean, to learn that you were on a controller, I think makes the feat, I think, more impressive here for podium, because not only, of course, you're on a controller while a lot of the drivers in this race are on a wheel and pedal setup, but you made it from the rear of the field, 43rd, all the way to where you finished here tonight on the podium. So, I mean, can you describe the way that was? I mean, going from potentially not making the show to making it and then making it this far after 100 laps?
Yeah, in the first heat, I was like, okay, they wrecked. Let's go. And I pulled back up from the apron, and somebody pulled up in front of me. I was like, oh, I didn't want to have to go to the consolation. And the consolation, I'm going to be honest, I got lucky. Because when you're running 3 wide like that, I know I had probably an inch or so to move up off the apron a bit. But it just, there's no way to judge that when you can't see out the right side of your door when you got guys leaning on you. So just the fact that I made it, and from running starting 43rd and just kind of taking my time and getting lucky with the wrecks that we did in the first half, had a lot of luck on my side tonight. That's more luck than I'd say driver skill. I'm going to put it at that. Because I normally don't do well with ill-handling race cars, especially, granted, my controller situation, but that was a handful. I'm worn out.
Well, after 100 laps, you become the biggest mover. I think that's something you can take home. And obviously, of course, with the podium here in this charity event, from 43rd, the rear of the field, up 40 to P3 at the end of tonight's Movember charity event from the Daytona International Speedway. Michael, want to thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us. A big congratulations for the top 3 effort here tonight for this event. And we wish you the best of luck in any other event, hopefully, that we can hold on Podium Esports, and we hope to see you there.
Yep, I'll tell you one thing real quick. It makes up for the Retro 500 not making that. I went to the last chance qualifier for that, and I missed it by 1 spot again. So this is a big makeup for that for me.
It's Michael Eckhart to third place here from the virtual Daytona International Speedway. What a job it was from the consolation all the way to the main event. We'll kick it up to second place where Jeff McConey is caught up on pit road with Terry Radford and a wild finish to the trial.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, the owner of the McConey Setup Shop, Setup Place, Mr. McConey, 4 1,000ths of a second, and I'll say that again, 4 1,000ths of a second separated you from victory lane here this afternoon. What could you have done different to maybe be sitting here talking to Kenneth Bueno instead of talking to me?
Man, I don't know. There's so many things I could have done differently. I could have not drifted up a bit in the tri-oval. I could have doored him. I could have taken it to the apron. There's so many things I could have done, and I'm sitting thinking about every single one of them that I could have done that I didn't do to win that. Don't get me wrong. It was a very fun event. I had a great time. I'm so happy with all the racing and the work we did and all the money raised. But like on a personal level, I really wanted to win that race. I really wanted to win it. So what could I have done differently, man? So many things, and I'm sitting and kicking myself for every single one of them.
Well, interesting here watching the chat. How did Danica Katrick take the loss?
Right hand to God as soon as that ended, and I think I might have wrecked him after the end, because I put my head down on my wheel and I was like, I can't believe that just happened. I was just crushed, and she came right over, jumped up on her little cat tree next to me, and was right there and sitting in my lap, which she never does. So yeah.
Did she say anything in cat terms? Was it like meow meow, or was it like meow? Kind of talk through what the cat did here.
I guess she's camera shy because she's sitting on the other side of the room now playing with some boxes. But no, it was a meow, meow. So she feels the same excitement of every win, the same hurt of every loss. I guess, I don't know. She's a good cat.
Well, cats are there when you need them, not there when you want them. So I'll give you that. And I didn't know the name of your cat until just a little while ago. The fabulous Ryan Bauer put it out there. I love it. Danica Katrick. It's a phenomenal name. I didn't know that we would be talking about cats here. But should you maybe have put her on the hood? Is that kind of her way of saying, here, kitty, kitty?
I mean, she is actually up on the top of the door for that McConey Setup Shop, Podium Esports, Martin Sports, iRacing, iFlag, Overton Speed Shop, Team 126 Racing, Joe Sixpack Podcast, and Anonymous Donors, and gratitude to Memorial Sloan Kettering Hospital, Chevy Silverado. She was up on the door jam, and she's actually on the pit board as well. Joey Manwich, as we like to call him,
Manwich.
Mm-hmm. He runs the Doki Doki Literature truck, car, and everything he does, and that's the funny thing is he's one of our sponsored drivers, and I gave him that sponsorship because of that paint scheme. I thought it was so funny, and I liked it so much. I gave him that full sponsorship, and he actually made a picture of Yuri from Doki Doki Literature Club holding my cat, and so we made that the pit board. And I'll tell you what, every time I came down in pit so that I could go to the back of the field because I wanted to ride at the back, every time I came down pit road, I could very easily see that sign, because who else would have an anime girl holding their real-life cat as their pit board sign? I did not miss it a single time. So thank you to Joey for doing that. Thank you to Jordan Spoon for painting the truck, and the whole team of guys that we were running with there. They were all pulling for me there at the end after they got wiped out. But, man, that was... It was so much fun. It was such a great race. We raised so much money, but I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna watch this broadcast back and I'm gonna go, God, that hurts. 4,000. That's all it was.
Well, Jeffrey McConey, congratulations on P2. I know it's not where you wanted to finish. We'll see you around the track with your setups, but their victories. Kenneth, back to you.
Jeff McConey comes up just short. I mean, it's still a valiant effort to control that part of the race, and just a wild way it ended at the tri-oval, but the victory by 4/1000ths of a second goes to the 44 truck of Jeremy Stanley, who can now celebrate in Daytona Victory Lane, the winner of the Movember charity event hosted by McConey Setup Shop. Jeremy, there was a lot of premonitions about what was going to happen in that organic green-white checkered restart. Maybe confused about how things are going to fare based on the pack of trucks. But for you, it was that charging move on the back straightaway to make this win possible. Give us your thoughts behind the wheel on what went down behind that move and what your thoughts were as you were making the move coming out of turn 4.
I'm so excited to be here, man. That was a brutal battle. Used both faster pairs, and yeah, I still speechless here. But yeah, so I was actually playing at multiple decisions in my head the last 2 laps, before we went back to green on that final restart. And I was thinking maybe right away, and I was like, no, maybe I should wait till the last lap. I knew I think the 91 wanted to run the bottom as soon as he could, so I wanted to stay on the back bumper of McConey until the last possible moment. And then the 38 was just so aggressive on the rear bumper. He tagged me a couple times, and I was like, okay, I think he's going to be my winning move here. So I got to the back stretch, and he tagged me. He pushed the pusher, which, that was told not to do multiple times, but he gave me the momentum to do it, and I couldn't let it go entering turn 3. That was the only moment I had. So I moved to the top, and then, I had like a paper thin wedge between me and the 38 spinning out in the front stretch, which thankfully he didn't clip me, which gave me that, I think it was 4/1000ths of a second. Crazy.
Absolute insanity to the end of that race. And, I figured when you made that outside move, the whole pack overall, I think, unlike most of the race had been separated, I'd say, for that final restart. There were only a couple of trucks, you included, to make it to the end there in that sort of tight-knit group of trucks. So how was the adjustability there? Because I saw the outside move, and it looked like maybe the support wasn't going to be there. What was the adjustability there behind the wheel to make sure that you can make that move, but also be able to get the momentum to roll out of the banking and get the win the way you did?
The setup wasn't as much or as comfortable as I was hoping it would have been coming in. So I ran a lot of that race on the inside. I did not feel comfortable on the top side. So me kind of running the bottom for the most part of the race, kind of, I got the feel around quite a few laps on, what the truck was going to do, this and that. So, I just, when you get the adrenaline pumping so much, I think I threw away most of that experience out the window. I just wanted to, my sole thought, my tunnel vision was just focus on getting around Jeff. And I had that run, and I could not let it up. And the truck felt comfortable in the later of the run as it kept going. Like, I got more and more comfortable in it. I think that's what gave me a little bit more confidence, to be honest, because I ran that bottom so much. And it just, I felt like that was the move.
And the move gets you to victory. Final question here, Jeremy, before we let you celebrate here from Daytona Beach, Florida. How does it feel to win this event amidst the whole meaning of the event, the Movember charity, and all that's been going on here to make this event possible? I mean, what does it mean for you and the Martin Sports truck to get the victory and to be able to call yourself, I guess, the winner of this charity event for men's mental health and, of course, the Movember Foundation?
I mean, it's a great deal. It's my first victory or first checkered flag on a super speedway in like 2 years, so that alone is like huge for me personally. Then you had to do it in a charity event where we raised over $1,000. I don't know the exact number, but it's a crazy thing that you guys are putting on, and it's just awesome. Yeah, especially for a charity event, for something that's meaningful, right? Like points races, that's cool, whatever, but when you're in a charity event doing it like this and on a bigger stage than what I've been on personally, it's a great deal. Got to thank my sponsors while I'm at it here. You got, of course, Martin Sports. You mentioned them. I got 2 people on the team at Nerditudes, Nerd Racing, Dustin Loxton and Kenny Haight. They have those gloves. They've said that they're the best things you could put on your hands to date. And then Kenny Bishop, too. He's my 4th teammate. Came and did some good, strong work with everybody. So buttkicker.com and then nerditudes.com. That's my main sponsor on the side of the door. You can't see it. Door checked a decent amount of times. You can't read it on the side, but it's definitely there. It's nerditudes.com. Check them out as well. But yeah, it's super meaningful, super excited for multiple reasons alone. Just amazing, man.
Well, Jeremy, we'll let you go. We won't bother you anymore. We'll let you celebrate this fantastic win by 4 1,000ths of a second here from Daytona. And we wish you the best of luck, hopefully in more events down the road. But for now, congratulations from Daytona.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Awesome broadcast. Thank you very much.
Jeremy Stanley comes across the start-finish line by a bumper to win the Saturday for the Boys Movember charity event hosted by Makoni Setup Shop. So, Terry, we'll bring it back to us in the broadcast booth. And wow, that was a great finish, an overall chaotic race from the beginning to the very end. But if there was one thing that we learned over the course of tonight, is that all of this was for the great cause of Movember. So we can't thank everybody enough for making this event happen in the first place and giving us some wild truck racing, but a great photo finish all the way to the end between Stanley and Makoni.
Yeah, it took, it's late here. It took a lot of energy drinks to keep me pretty, and I look awful, absolutely awful camera. But great cause, great event for an amazing charity, and for all the people that went out and shared their stories with what an event like this meant to the community and for men's health. Like I said at the beginning, a lot of men have the stigmatism about them that they're supposed to just be invincible, that no matter what, they have to go out and do it. I've struggled with things like this, which is why I went out and made sure that I was a part of this event. You have to put health first, and if it means stepping back and taking time off and being a part of a community like iRacing and what a family this is, it's wonderful to be doing it, and a hell of a race, I can tell you that much.
I think we had a lot of entertainment up in the broadcast booth. Safe to say, we're lucky we're not behind the wheels, because we would not be beating and banging around all over. We're here, we're in the booth, we're calm, we're fine. But nonetheless, it is not too late for you to join and donate to the Movember Foundation. Of course, this event's still happening. We're not done with the stream yet, so you can hit the exclamation point MO in the Twitch chat and get the link to donate over to the Movember Foundation. If you are, if you're struggling, if you've got something going on, you are not alone, and the Movember Foundation is sure to help you get through whatever you're going through. And it's a great cause, it's a great foundation, and of course, we're so happy to be a part of this foundation on Men's Health Awareness Month, or Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, in the month of November, before we get to the holiday season next month. Well, if you enjoyed all the stuff that happened here from the World Center of Racing, you're going to love what's going to happen over the next couple of days. It'll all start Sunday night tomorrow, 9:15 p.m. Eastern, where the Simax Cup Series, powered by MPI, heads to the Music City, the Nashville Super Speedway, November 28th. It'll be on the twitch.tv/Podium Esports Twitch channel. That'll be the final race of the regular season, so you get to watch the 16 drivers get crowned to run for a Simax Cup Series championship in 2021. Then that'll be followed by some truck dirt racing for the Monday Night Racing Series. Monday Night Racing's Road to Glory Series, presented by Tough Gold Flooring, will kick off the trucks at Knoxville Raceway November 29th, that Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern on the twitch.tv/Podium Esports Twitch channel. But then right after, 1 hour later, 8 p.m. Eastern, you'll find the Monday Night Racing Pro Series, presented by Rowdy Energy. They'll take the same trucks to the same Knoxville Raceway with a Pro Championship Series, 8 p.m. Eastern again, twitch.tv/Podium2, Podium's YouTube, Facebook, and the Monday Night Racing Twitter pages as well. That'll be before the contenders of the eNASCAR Contender iRacing Series get ready to come back from the 1 week break back to the Music City Nashville Super Speedway. That'll be round 4 of their campaign. That'll start November 30th, 9 p.m. Eastern. You can find that on iRacing's Twitch, YouTube, Facebook's pages as well. Also along with twitch.tv/Podium2. And then Tara Radford, you're excited for the start of Shenandoah Shine Race of Champions S-Rock, presented by Shenandoah Shine, as they kick off their inaugural season at the Daytona International Speedway right at this very venue, December 1st. That'll be Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern time at twitch.tv/Podium Esports. Well, it was a great event overall. A great race to crown the winner here in the Saturday for the Boys Movember charity event hosted by Makoni Setup Shop. We're so happy that you are a part of it all to see Jeremy Stanley come across victorious by 4 1,000ths of a second. So for Jeff McConey and everyone at McConey Setup Shop, for Ryan Bauer, James Pike, Cisco Scaramuza, Gary Sexton, and John Theodore over at Podium Esports, for our producer tonight, Ryan Bauer, our camera builder, Dougie Beard, Cameron Auburnon covering social media, and from my colleague in the booth, Terry Radford, my name is Kenneth Bueno, saying so long and thank you so much for watching tonight's broadcast from Daytona. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow night to see the 16 playoff drivers crowned for the SimX Cup Series.